it is time to turn our attention down to that lower semi-final, of course. Our other two teams that have also qualified to the Salt Lake City Major, Wolves Esports and 4 Angry Men. And let's talk about the journey that each of these teams has had here. Wolves Esports take a map off All Gamers, still get knocked to the lower bracket. 201 coin, and then that lower quarter final yesterday. Easily some of the best Rainbow Six Siege I've ever seen as they take down King 021.
So that was a really, really good run, but also from the side of 4 Angry Men, right? They come up playing in the upper bracket against All Gamers, which they then fall down lower. They get then the chance against High Loot, and then they find themselves in the semi-lower bracket final. But now, as we can see, a little bit of a head view from the teams of Wolves Esports. You just talked about them. We can see every single EPS player stats are kind of equal, neutralized, nobody really standing out. But that means if everybody performs, you can rely on everybody. You don't need to be scared. If everybody is dead, can these last 2 players bring it back? There's always a chance here that they can bring an upset because they perform so consistently.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, they may not stand out in terms of the raw statistics, Travi, but there are 2 players indeed that stand out to me in some of the heroics they've pulled off over the last couple of weeks. CPK, Arfung have just pulled out some of the most insane nonsense moments to pull clutches over the line, and that's the kind of player you need this deep into a bracket.
Yeah, it's like Dianic said, everyone on this team is performing, everyone's doing well, all things are great, but then you need that X factor, and that's exactly where those 2 players have really stepped into the fold to make this Wolves roster look as competitive it does, and honestly, I think they're a sleeper hit inside of this game. I'm backing them to maybe not win the whole thing, but be competitive here, because their opponent on the flip side, Blue Panda, right, it's 4 Angry Men, and these guys are terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, if not for the fact that they came up against the likes of All Gamers and EDG as early as they did in that upper bracket, to be fair, there was really no one else they're going to play against. This would have been one of my finalist teams in that upper bracket. Gotti, TX Only, Lider, Darkly, and Rockstar Car. That man on the end, that far right player, this guy just hits the most obscene shots round after round. I don't know how many men I have seen pull out the CZ, hit an Iron Sights headshot across 3 rooms, and then still find relevance in the remainder of the round. I mean, what do you do in the face of that sort of capability?
Listen, it's a spark, right? You gotta have a little bit of spark, and from the side of 4 Angry Men, we definitely have a few players who have that X factor. What Travi was just talking about. I mean, TX Only, Rockstar, and there's so many more, especially Gotti. Gotti's had some nasty 1vx scenarios, some nasty frags where he did. They're just definitely sometimes outperforming, outshining his whole team. So from this player, from this whole roster, 4 Angry Men, I would say generally the most craziest or scariest thing is going to be who is going to turn up, and they're gonna have to focus this person every single round, because right now 4 Angry Men, they're fantastic, but they're most of the times if 1 or 2 players outshining the whole team, making those kills, they're gonna be put on the front line. The second those fall, the second 4 Angry Men fall apart, so they're going to need to focus those 3. Who is it going to be? It's going to be a little bit of a dice roll in the first few rounds.
Yeah, I mean, and Gotti as well has just had such an interesting road from coach, and then within the last month and a bit has then transitioned from coach to player in less than a month, Travi, and he's still putting up crazy numbers.
He is indeed. That's the thing. That's what is experience on this roster, right? You've got Gotti, and as well their coach, you've got Eden as well. So 2 really experienced players. So when, like you say, those top 2 players, those X Factor, aren't performing up to snuff, you've then got that back line. You've then got that reliable support line to settle them back down, get them looking competitive yet again. This 4 Angry Men roster, on paper, they've got absolutely everything you need. They've got those hungry young gunners ready to make a difference inside of these rounds, and then that steady back line supporting them along through it as well. Really great stuff across the board we've seen from these guys, and it makes for a really tough opponent and a really hard sell for the Wolves here. 4 Angry Men by far looking really great going in towards this one, and I'm really excited to see what they bring, especially in this best of 3 format, because I think that's where this team really is shining.
Yeah, absolutely. They just seem to have cracked the code in how to approach this game so far. They're all putting up absolutely spectacular numbers. But I mean, coming into it through the playoffs, there has been a map at least that stands out a little more than the rest, and that is Fortress. We've seen it time and time again. It was not played at all, not touched in the regular season. I think we're now up to, must be 8 potentially going on 9 plays in the playoffs alone, which is near, 8. I mean, that's crazy numbers given that we didn't see it at all in the best of ones. And both these teams have shown some propensity. There you go. Now the 4th most picked map coming into this competition. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, listen, is it surprising? I won't say so. Fortress is a great map. And it has a lot of potential, right? We talked about this a little bit, saying that it doesn't really have a personality yet, right? Still needs to be figured out if it is an attacker-sided or defender-sided map. It is still a little bit unknown, rather, where it's completely going, what sides are the good sides, what sides are the tertiary sides. And because there's so much room for experimenting, for creativity, I think, which makes the players and the teams wanting to play it so much, because one team could have one solution to a problem that could be so unique that they cannot figure out a solution within the round, right? There could be a strat so unique they cannot find the weak spot within those 3 minutes that they have to do. So it's really good to see Fortress moving up the lines. And again, SI was played also quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is interesting again, sort of seeing how that develops in the CNL as the newest competitive region. But there you go, looking at the numbers in terms of operators. I mean, Travi, we see a pretty clear and consistent pattern. Ying and Kai just banned out so consistently, given how impactful they've been as of late. I understand it.
Yeah, 100%. I fully get it. I do not, especially the Ying, but I like solo queue and playing on your own. It's like you really do not want to play against this one. But I believe this graph has also showed us the pick rates there in the darker color, the excessive when they're not being banned, how much they're then going on to be played inside of this game, because that's your overall presence inside of a round, right? And what it's basically telling us is 75% of rounds, or roughly thereabouts, Kaid, Ying, Grim, and Azami, all these kind of operators, they're having a presence in these rounds, whether they're taken off, whether they're being actually played here. Looking at this attack as well, it's so aggressive, these operators.
I hate to break it to you. The black is the ban rate. There is a 65% ban rate on Ying, a 66% ban rate on Kaid. These teams, the CNL, just don't want a bar of the Ying. What? Look, it's scary.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's evident my time in CNL has not taught me a thing about the language, but Matt Vito. Oh, I love this.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Nighthaven Labs will return to the staple, the most popular map in the pool, holding its place at least for now. And it is, in fact, Wolves who ban away the Fortress. Ban to Chalet, a staple, a stock standard. I think a bit of a risky one for 4 Angry Men to give up. And then Border to round it out. D, I mean, from what we've seen, who do you think this map Vito favors?
Oh, not gonna lie, I would say it does favor a little bit for Angry Man, considering all of these maps require a more, well, you're gonna see the joke I'm about to make, an aggressive, more angrier playstyle, especially Chalet and Border, because they're very heavy aggressive maps. You're gonna need to take a lot of space. You're gonna have to face the opponents early on. You need to know how to deal with problems, how to solve them, how to really be the team that forces something. And for Angry Men, they can do that, and it's, of course, in their name, but also in their playstyle. Very aggressive, and they can do that very, very well. On the other side, Nighthaven Labs is more of a clubhouse, strategic setup map, and they've also done very great on the side of Nighthaven Labs. And of course, the big man that is kind of the whole brains behind it is Eden, right? Coming from Europe, bringing in that aggressivity, but also knowing how to adapt to different maps. We've talked about this in previous broadcast maps, but he's a big impact on the playstyle of 4 Angry Men.
Yeah, look, an angry playstyle, an aggressive playstyle for sure, but I have to call a spade, Travi. Wolves not known as the friendliest of animals. They tend to, play first, ask questions later. So I don't know. What do you reckon, Travi? Does a wolf pack take down 4 Angry Men? That seems like a pretty easy fight. Yeah, I mean, look, it's anyone's guess, especially we thought last series was going to be very, very competitive. It then just turns into an all-gamers outright beating. The poor EDG limped themselves down to that lower bracket. Dianic, do you have more faith that this one goes to a map 3, or are we going to see the 4 Angry Men turn it on like they did last night?
Listen, I'm gonna say 4 Angry Men. Of course, listen, you already said it, man. I think it might be a close one, really depending on the day of 4 Angry Men, how they perform, how they play, how much they can really go in and do that. But I would say before we keep talking about it, we also have 2 casters to bring them in, because it's not just only us on the desk, but we also have Whiskey Glitter and Whiskey Run.
Yeah, look, gentlemen, I do like my whiskey neat, and you two lads are very, very neat indeed. Coming into it, we're not far off starting. Look, Glitter, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts? Who takes this? Yeah. There we go. Now I can hear. Sorry, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. I'm technologically impaired. The more the greys come through, the less I understand computers. But Ron, look, Glitter, take us through it. What are your thoughts? How do you break down this series?
I'm thinking on paper, this is an easy 4 angry men call, right? They've just been absolutely dominant. And even though we did see Wolves take that map off of all gamers, I don't know if it's going to be enough when it's all on the line right now. I'm putting my token in 4 a.m.
And Ron, what do you think? Are you backing your co-commentator there, or are you going to potentially play the contrarian card?
Oh, 100%. I am with Dai here that this is going to be an angry, aggressive game. And that absolutely favors 4 a.m. Wolves are really going to struggle here. And even though it's the lower bracket semifinal and they've got to win here to move on, this absolutely feels like a 4 a.m. win to me.
But gentlemen, it's time, the series, to decide who meets EDG and gets the chance to push on to the grand finals. Take it away.
Okay, you heard it. It is your chance to move it on. Man, the social vote here, Whiskey Run, heavily favoring 4 a.m. This is already looking like it potentially is going to be an absolute blowout here.
%, my friend. Yeah, social vote, the analyst vote, the host vote, the casters vote, heavily favoring 4 a.m. So tough question about how this one is going to go for the Wolves side. So they're going to need to step up with something we probably haven't been expecting and have not seen yet really from this team. They've had a slightly more difficult run through this bracket, in my opinion. They've struggled just a bit, but I mean, they take down King Zero, who was one of the better teams earlier on. One coin shouldn't have been really just a little bit of a bump in the road, and they did manage to take, like you mentioned in the start there, Wolves took one map off of all gamers. That's probably the best piece of information we've got on this team. And boy, they talked about the fact that Cade has rarely made it through a round. The surprising one is Ying was not banned, so we may actually get to see her played one time here.
Man, there was a big pattern around when we're talking about looking at who's getting banned out and why. I mean, it was all cheese ops, right? Shields didn't even make the top 5, or maybe it was the 4th one most banned. But, I mean, get them off the board. And for these kind of strategic teams where you're coming down to that last second execute, makes sense. The Yings, the Grims, the Glazes, Nighthaven specifically, Glazes proved to be the bane of basically internationally coming to this map. So, yeah, makes sense to see that one off.
Yeah, good question. When we're working through this, the Tachanka coming out as well, my friend. Let's go. We rarely get a chance to see him, especially on Nighthaven. That is an odd choice at this point.
I like it. It's a little bit of area denial here, right? We're going to try to keep him off as long as possible, and he can do it pretty well, right? You got your choice of the 3, and they're going to make sure that they're at least time torching as much as possible, because that's one of the consistent things we've seen here, Run, is that it is just waste as much time as possible. Force that last second execute, force those mistakes, and then punish them for their hubris of thinking they could. Already going to get started here on that main breach and getting it on opened up. Quick, oh man, okay, quick shots. SMG-11 is going to reach out, take Ash off the board, and that's a quick one. Man advantage over to the Wolves here, and it is just a huge pick early on, and that's a tough one, right? If they were holding those mute jammers to keep that breach closed or anything like that, well, now not going to be able to disrupt that from below.
Here's the thing about it, right? You expect that to be aggressive for this attack team, but you know what? Early aggression punished there by the Wolves defense. That's a little bit locked in. You kind of surprising the Ashe there, and you expect her to be the one that makes that early entry in, but losing those charges, losing the ability to clear out some of this utility from a long range, going to be a problem, but not an ending game here for this team. They still have got the Zofia, still have the Ace, plenty of firepower and utility on the 4 a.m. 4AM attack side as we get down through the first half of this round. Gone. We've got some of these walls open up. IT's halfway there. It's a crouch, though. That's going to make it difficult and give lots of opportunity for the defense to slow it down.
What I love is that Warden has just been holed up onto the door, and it might pay dividends here as they start to take the push in. SMG-11 going to find the second for the round as now does put them into man advantage by 2. As the fire rings out, it's going to force some movement backwards. Air jabs come in, Thorn Gadget goes off, and Warden is going to get paid dividends for holding on so long. And just like that, run, it's a 1v5 as the fires start to come out. Geez, let's call it flawless.
Okay, second floor on Nighthaven, defensive win. Not unexpected, my friend. For sure, they get the opening pick there and really set the tone. But man, we talked a lot about it during our last CNL cast. The vibes very high from the team that was leading, and it changed quickly. Man, momentum here. 4AM looked like they're significantly more subdued, and that Wolves team looking to come in strong, man, and pulling off round 1 of the best of 3. They're coming in hot.
Okay, well, they take it, and that's not necessarily so unexpected, right? It's Nighthaven, couple of cheeky kills, and it's a defense. I'm not shocked at that one, right? They did a great job of holding on. Now it's going to be the adaptation as we take it downstairs. What's going to be the change here? Just still trying to kind of checking out their bona fides and trying to figure out some of those tendencies on the other side of it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. When you're talking about a best of 3, you're going to have a little bit of this feeling the situation out, trying to decide how exactly you want to play this map. How is the other team going to respond to your aggression here in this case? And you know what? Now you know. Approach the map just a slightly bit slower. Not enough to cause a serious problem here. But what did Wolves on this defense bring for holding down the upstairs, the downstairs? How spread out are they? And really the highlight pick for me, man, look at this. Fang is holding on with the smoke on the wall again. Blitz takes a shot, opens it. Doesn't engage that space, though he's being a little bit cautious here. I don't think they know. And Pulse, just waiting. Again, full hold up here. 2 of the windows hard for this defensive team. They may get caught. There's an opportunity there for the attackers to isolate these roamers.
Ah, man, it's 4 upstairs. Isolation's going to be tough. Everybody playing that zone defense onto the first floor outside of Jaeger, who is holding down into the basement area, his kind of solo play here. They do get the single wall opened up. Now it's time to start focusing on the main breach, and as some drones get in there, they're going to start to understand that, yeah, it's a heavy investment into this first floor hold currently. Shield is on the board, so he's going to be up there helping push some of those roamers out of place as he has already made his way onto the first floor here. And then a little bit of backup with Snake, right? Intel of exactly where they're at. Now they can make a focused swing together.
I mean, the significant part here is, right, the hard breach, they've got the Hibana there to try and make this happen. Otherwise, they're using can openers. So they're going to need to use her and keep her in play to get all of that stuff open. But once again, you still have Wolves roamers upstairs. And look at this, the Ella looking for a little bit of shield break action as now Monty knows where she's at. But there is a pair of Grismots just waiting for him to walk through that kitchen, and she is ready to take advantage of it.
First engagement here is going to see a double ring out for the attacker. Call it 3 off the board now as they find themselves with a heavy man advantage and just over 60 to work. Are we going to see back-to-back here? A nice little response here by the attack team. It is a very low health situation for Capital, but you know what? No, let's get it on the board. Back it up. Flawless again here, Whiskey.
Okay, so if you came into this match and we said the first 2 rounds are flawless, but they go to the opposing teams, what a way to start the round. Man, in a momentum-based game, it's too close to call at this point. That is wild that we see that play out completely differently this time. Felt like this 4 a.m. team locked in, identified where the roamers were, felt very good, just sort of working through this map, and man, as we hit day 5, lower bracket playoffs between these teams. We've already decided who's going to Salt Lake. You and I are going to see them in person down there in Salt Lake when they get to this point. But you know what? There is bragging rights on the line here to decide which of the 4 teams that made it to Salt Lake are the best.
Well, when you put it that way, it does feel like it's a little bit all on the line here, Run. We're going to run it back. Defense here, going to take it obviously back down to this. Keep the Tersh site going, I guess. Keep the routine going, even though they lost the site downstairs. And I like that, right? You get a little time to think about it before you get back into the action. So on to the Tersh site. This is one that me and you watched quite a bit. M80X have that success on, shield in, take a little bit of space off that main breach into the top floor area. And then, hey, Bob's your uncle. You're starting to get the plant down. The big problem here, Fang's going to look to get active early, and he's just holding, Azami, but Fang as well, because he's just holding on to those hard angles, waiting for somebody to slip up.
We were talking early on in this about which players were the ones to be watching here from this team's perspective. I mean, you were talking about having on the Wolves side, the first guy on the top for the CNL list was number 23 in the list. Number 23. Recap was there, but he's so far down from the individual player stats, and this whole team so far below the individual player stats that 4AM on paper certainly looked like the team to win it. Recap, although, you know what, he wants to pad the stats. He's going to go for these spawn peaks outside, super aggressive stance from the defense. Playing the Azami, and this is an op that you do not want to lose early on to be able to give you some of that control later when you get close to that main breach or the main plant on the window. I don't know. I'm feeling like maybe she's taking some chances, but geez, just as we say it, Recap comes up big. He's going to pull a 3-1, and he wants to move up that leaderboard.
I'm telling you, high risk, high reward, and it paid off on that one. First kill goes out, and now they've got those Kiba Bears to really lock in a very static position, some trench warfare here, if you will. Now, getting up onto the top floor, the second floor, they're going to start to try to push some of these defenders off of it, and they're going to have a pretty easy time, I think, as mostly it's rotated back down and into back in and around site. I don't think anybody left up, outside of Malusi, still left up onto the top floor. $53 seconds left as it starts to count down. Have made their way inside the building. Quick shot towards the stair. Almost spells disaster. He's going to open the hatch up, try to put some double pressure on, but instead he's just going to be able to rotate back on around. Whiskey, we're down to the last few, and again, it is an everybody almost all alive situation, meaning that kill feed is going to light up. Blackbeard makes his way inside. Grenade's going to force some movement. Gets the kill on it anyways. Still maintains that top floor presence as the last 23 start to count down. A C4 is in hand as they start to make the push over. Can't quite connect with it. Again, we're going to get equalized on the number count. So this time, Wolves find themselves with an advantage by 1 and only 12 seconds to hold out. Equalized again. Others, all of a sudden, 4AM has got it. 7 seconds. They've got to get it down. 1 to plant, 1 to hold. The vertical is there. They are looking for him off the board. Going to take a couple of shots.
Goes out.
It's not going to be the one for good and plant. It's going to be a post-plant scenario. Low health for the defense now. A very tough situation because you got to fight inside and outside of the window.
Tragic play there from the defense. They pinged the wrong guy. There is no reason he should have been fighting the vertical on the extra man. All he needed to do was work the planter. He gets a kill on the planter. It is a win for the defense. Wrong ping goes out. Wrong focus. Plant goes down, and the attackers pick up a victory. Right now, it's again, still a little bit hard to tell. Both teams feeling very good. Not surprising to see a tertiary win, though, for the attackers. 4AM, they may have lost that first round flawlessly, but since then, had a little bit better of a run. At least we didn't see a flawless this time. Both teams are trading some bodies. Again, upstairs on that second floor, most of the action happening up there, and it was a cool little interaction we saw there between the Blackbeard and the defender as they're tossing nades at each other, trying to pick up kills, but not going to be the difference maker as they managed to get that plant down and then good hold outside for cover. Going to see this a second floor come back again, and look at that. Tachanka back on the board, my friend.
So 4AM takes 2 on attack for that first quarter of play, and that's quota done here for calling it defensive sided. And that can be the thing that we've talked about before, Run, is that a well-coordinated attack team will do well on Nighthaven. 4AM, they've locked one in. So now they got to take it and attack onto the top floor. Last time we saw this, Wolves only win. They held out steadfast and did it flawlessly.
So they're going to take away the Azami from Recap. That was the op that he was really running, really just changing the landscape of the map. Not going to get the opportunity this time, though. He's going to be back onto the Ella. So she's making the rotation between the Wolves players at this point. And you know what? CPK sitting at 4-2 as well. Those two guys with him and Recap carrying this team so far. So once again, look at where Recap's playing. Downstairs, onto the small room door, just waiting for one of the attackers to maybe try and make their way in at the bottom of the warehouse side, but no real significant warehouse push yet for this team. Gonna open up some of these walls, and man, I know we heard the casters talking about the Deimos and how good Deimos was on that previous one. Nighthaven for sure is a map where he thrives.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to face off against Ella first as he's opened up that first floor window, getting some drones in, trying to figure out if they've got everybody pinged out so he can get to work on trying to get some movement out of this defense. C4 is locked in. He's expecting a little bit of that backside pressure, and nobody really showing just yet. There it is. First engagement. It's not going to be onto the Deimos. Capital, live forfeit, does get traded out as the Deimos was close. Zone attack this time finds it. A quick shot onto Thorn. A little bit of damage, but not quite it. We're equalized, Run, with 1:37 left.
Half the round gone. 4v4. Decent positioning here from the attack. They've got some space downstairs. No one on the defense is there. That's going to allow Deimos to move around freely, try and find one of those vertical play opponents. But look at this. The shield in play. God, he's holding on with that Twitch, long-range DMR, just waiting in a cat-and-mouse game upstairs on the top of that river door. You can see the Tachanka. Man, I am loving the CNL observers. Prod team, they are bringing in perfect secondary cams just to give that context we've been looking for as the viewers and the casters. Really love what these guys are doing.
So Tachanka Flames go onto the catwalk, and that's going to stop their pressure up there. Shotgun's going to ring out.
Solid play.
Striker taken down as well. A down onto Thorn does get the man advantage back into the hands of 4AM as they claim it by 1. Mute to fall as well, and it is just starting to fall apart
What's
for
he
this
running
Wolves
out for?
defense again. Now the age-old question, is Tachanka enough to get it done? He's got 12 launchers left. He starts to go into a bit of a rotate as the smokes are out. They are in a position to potentially plant on the other side. Thermite does have the diffuser in him. 22 seconds to hold out. Takes a couple of shots towards the door, and there it is. Cross is set. Pink starts to go out. They know they've got one close. It's a double swing, and they find him. Tachanka goes down, and 4AM bring it back again.
Honestly, I was loving the fact that that the smokes were in play. He knows where the door is at. He's able to toss the Shumikas in through the open door, through the smoke, prevent the push in there from the attack. And you know what? That felt like a good play. The problem is he's not able to win that battle. 3 attackers upstairs, a single guy trying to hold on with the plant going down. He almost needed to launch more of the Shumikas at that top entrance into the control room side, but they lose the battle, and that is unfortunate, my friend. Attackers right now feeling very good on this map. Recap, I mean, he's there, gets that opening pick once again. Now the man's sitting at 4-3, but he's just been a little bit of a chaos agent to start off these maps. The problem is he just needs to stay alive a little bit longer. You know what? Go for that play, back off the engagement, support the team. Yeah, you can have that super aggressive defensive stance, but you know what? Pull it back just a hair, and I think that's going to help this team make the transition.
Not a bad call, right? He's getting at least the 1 fur, but he has been getting traded out, which just makes it more difficult as the round goes on. But they take it down, back downstairs. Did my eyes betray me? Is it double shield duty here? Yep, they did. Both the Monty and the Blitz on board. So a suggestion that we might get a little bit active as this breach gets opened up. Could be caught on a little bit of surprise here. I don't think anybody's down here in the basement at the moment.
Absolutely wild. There is an opportunity. No one is in the basement. The Blackbeard's upstairs, going to cause a little bit of chaos. They're going to hear the thermite charge go off, obviously, when that main breach opens. But Monty has the kit in hand, ready to go for the defuse as soon as they get this thing open. They're going to open up the single first and make that push in. Honestly, it felt like the assembly side was the place to go. I don't think they realized how much of an opportunity they had on attack that is maybe wasted at this point. It was a great distraction upstairs, but now Blitz is going down to support. Man, they fumbled the quick plant. They may still get this off and may still come up big, but they had a huge opportunity here.
Well, now Smoke made his way back downstairs. Goyo quickly
down
to follow. Here. Yeah, and that's going to be caught off as the cut route was already set. A second to follow. A third goes down. It was a retake strat, and it goes absolutely awry. Nobody down there. IGL sees it, calls it out, says, hey, let's get active. They do return fire, but a pistol pop will lead to a body drop, and it's all going to be up to Solus. And what are you going to do in that situation but just catch one? Man, heads up IGL play there as they just get in, planted, punch him in the face, and hold out for another W.
The crazy thing is, it could have gone better than that. It could have been even better than that. They used the thermite on the main assembly side, open that wall up. Plant is done in the first 20 seconds of the round. You know what? And they had to settle with just winning it anyway. But honestly, 4AM just absolutely locked in. They took advantage of a gap there in the Wolves defense. And that's it. Wolves made a mistake on the defense side. They were expecting a much more vertical heavy presence here from this 4AM attack, and they adapted around it, right? You could still try and cover the plant with the vertical play, but rather than being close to the Exo side, being close to the main breach side, they went ahead and planted pretty close to the tank door. And it absolutely worked. No vertical coverage there from the defense, no direct interaction, a pair of shields to protect the post plant. Perfect play there from 4AM to read into the defense, and the fact that, like we said, that they even allowed it to go a minute into that round was giving Wolves a gift.
Okay, hoping for a little bit of adaptation here out of Wolves, right? This is the last chance to get it done on the first half, and there's no surprise there. There is a bit of a spawn peak going on. A pre-fire almost gets a little bit of a reward here. Now, we do see a little bit of a change, okay? Double intel. We've got the Yokais on board, Valkyrie with a C4 in hand. And in fact, there's a couple of them, 3 to be exact. So anticipating some of that denial from a distance. Man, not wanting to go into this attacking half down 5-1, right? A 4-2 at least feels like a process that you can get through to maybe see yourself into overtime. But you start to play into the mental if it gets any worse than that.
I mean, two things, right? For sure, this was 4AM's map pick. We're expecting them to come in very aggressive here and win, just like Adai said. But, I mean, Wolves, they should have probably come out a little bit stronger than a 5-1 is going to be devastating for the mental going into this round. The opening pick, though, they take down the Deimos. Unfortunately, answered back as they lose one of the pieces of intel you mentioned. Yeah, a little bit of change up here for this team, and really it feels like losing the Cade and the Bandit has been a problem. 4AM has been able to open up all of the walls that they need whenever they need, open up those cut lines, made it very difficult for the defense to sort of rotate around, and I'm right now almost feels like they need to be running a mute more often. Maybe the tuber out, somebody that could try and block some of this space and use it to prevent those main walls from opening, forces 4AM team into using more utility to get that space rather than just walking in and taking it.
Man, desperate situation as he tries to hold the line here on the door. Vertical might start to play out, except for they find him. Man advantage by 2 now as the last 60 rings out. They do find the trade back. Shotgun goes down. Able to find one, though. Quick peek. It's going to put it all onto the shoulders here of Twitch. Does find one, finds a second. All of a sudden into a 1v1 showdown. A little bit of intel, and he's got a 3-piece to take it. Run. What?
Wow. That was it right there, my friend. There's a reason that he was sitting at the number 12 player on the entire league at this point. I mean, TX is normally the guy we'd expect to be seeing at the top, but Gotti is locked in.
Go for win condition plant, okay? So make sure to talk and deny. If they play Doka, second call mean execution, okay? So second Doka call, heads up, talk what's happening to you guys and say what you are holding. Okay, we said we ban Ying Dream. You were questioning the Ying ban tier, right?
Ace. Grim Ying or Grim Ace or Grim Summit. Yeah.
Safest considering their game style would be Ying in my opinion. So we are 100% sure we don't get flashed.
Grim.
They will be slow, they will flood at the end, so...
No, they don't use Ying tough lore, and even tough lore, we use Warden. I think it's okay, but...
太开心了，
峰哥别送了好吗，峰哥？
我打了一个好不好？
峰哥想去沈阳吃正宗铁锅炖呢，我也想去沈阳吃正宗铁锅炖，我受不了了。
可以。
干嘛？
回去睡一觉。
啊
17你要上吗？17
上吧。
不行，我上了要加班了，上了要加班了。
你杀了一个光子 KD 了。
你不会进攻之神吗？你杀3个直接退游戏，上 K。
对，你上 KD 最厉害了。
他不能退游戏啊，他不能中途那个。
你就躲吧。
我先保活吧，
我起来。
我躲点里面，然后找4个保镖帮我。
对你进攻在天台就可以了。我已经在研究怎么打Falcon了，兄弟们。
别脑残，颤死了！
快来
！We are Falcons
出发，兄弟
Jesus.
Man, look at that. The vibes are high, and you know what? Wolves feeling very relaxed. That just I love once again we get this the mid game pause and the insight into the way the teams are playing and the way that they're focused, relaxing here. I'm honestly loving what we're seeing out of this Wolves team. They may be down in the round count, 1v5, and I think the point is, right, they have already made it to Salt Lake City. They're in, man. They've made it to the major. They are locked in. And even if they lose this game to the better team on paper, they're still there. They're going to have the opportunity on the international stage to take the fight to the U.S. And you could see it on their faces, just happy to be here. That's the kind of siege I want to be watching, my friend.
Okay, yeah, it's all about the mindset. Don't get shocked. Yeah, down a little bit in the scoreline, but yeah, Siege is a game of two halves, right? So we're on to the op swap. We're switching sides, and now going to take a look at how they're going to bring their attacking rounds to fruition here, right? Same sort of thing, right? They're very coordinated on the defense. It wasn't like there was just a ton of bad things, the reason they were losing. Just a couple of disadvantageous spots, a not necessary swing or two, and there could have been a couple of those rounds that went the other way. So focus on that for the attack side of it, and might see a little bit closer of a game.
Gotti started that round off 8-2. He ends it 11-2, picking up a triple there. Absolutely wild. The man is on fire. I mean, he has been the guy that's carrying this 4 a.m. team, and now as they move on to the defense, he's going to lose that Twitch DMR, but you know what? It doesn't necessarily mean that was the thing that was carrying him forward. Just really locked in, good vibes, and he's going to switch onto a completely different style of play with the Warden and, busting out the SMG-12. Now, talking about the bans one more time here, the Wolves, same strategy. They're going to go with the breach denial gone. They want to have that same opportunity to open everything up no matter what, and no, why are you peeking that angle? He's holding on to a 2x long-range sight, had not even pushed into the Fenrir. That's the time that you swing that opportunity. Obviously needed to hang back and wait just a little bit more, but man, here it is, the tie-up. Ace goes down as well, so 4am throws the initial body, and then unfortunately Ace solo pushes in as well. No distraction over on his side, no utility to try and make that a little bit easier, and we even it up 4-4.
Oh, well, 4-3, as you call it out. They do find that answer back here as they claim that man advantage onto the attacking side. Rotero's getting in and getting rid of a ton of that extension util. But look at this run. It is just Trap City. There is layers upon layers of this defense. MP7 is going to equalize here, and they get the down onto the Maverick as well. A little bit of disaster here for the Wolves. Does take it into a 2v1 situation, a DMR to try to win this one out. No diffuser in hand means it does have to be Frag City. Plenty of time. Dokkaebi ping starts to go off. He's got two different angles that he's got to watch as he makes his final approach into the isolation here, and they're not going to give him anything. They're not going to show him anybody's. Finally, Cam goes down. Whiskey, it's a tough situation, but completely still winnable.
Especially because he does not have the diffuser all the way back over on the IT side. I don't think he's going to be able to try and push in. He's going for kills at this point. And we talked about Recap being that guy, the top-rated player on this team. But, yeah, in a 2v1 scenario when the defenders can just sit and hold doors, honestly, it felt like they made a bit of a mistake. He's not even going to go for it? Oh, he hears the jump in and catches one. Okay, that's not a bad way to play this. Now he's going to get the kit outside and is going to be able to try and make the push in. But this is a little bit of a dangerous situation here. You're talking about it. Wow, makes a transition in through the door. Let's go.
Into a prone position. Live ping's going out, but wow! Flash rings out and he claims the headshot anyways. Yowza, what a final play.
Okay, solo play there from the Wolves. And once again, vibes are high. They are looking happy. They pick up the attacking win on the second floor in what should have absolutely been an unwinnable situation. It doesn't have the kit outside the map. Two defenders in play, but it gives him a gift. Hop in and then allows him to just hold on to this angle. The ping's coming out. They had the intel, and through the flash, he gets a pair of SMG-12 kills to close out that round. The Wolves are not dead yet.
Man, holy bait, right? It fakes like he's going for the diffuser. Here's the movement. The hop in, takes the shot, isolates 1v. Man, you just can't write it any better than that. The script is looking good for Siege today, my friend. 5-2 as they start to mount to come back here. Taking it down to the basement, keeping it... keeping the round rotate going, and this time it's going to be a little bit different look at Denial. Goyo is on the board, but something we didn't talk about on that first round, Mira is available.
Interesting. Available but not played. And talked about the hard breach being the important part here. Is they're going to be able to open everything up. Wolves have really leaned into the ace as opposed to the thermite or the Habana in this case, and they have also brought a shield along. Ban out the Ying and the Grim every time they get rid of the attacking cheese apps. Leaves the shields available in both teams, and really CNL in general. It feels like they have sort of been thriving on the shield play in general. I think we've seen shields on every attacking round, and they really sort of love the cover that it gives. But oh no, Darsley hitting the C4. That is unfortunate to lose the blitz just as we were talking about the shield. Wolves are going to have to pull it off shield-less this time, and they have a bit of an opportunity here. This 4 a.m. team is all heavily focused on that first floor. Everybody upstairs. Oh no, Rockstar is downstairs on that basement. He's the only guy there holding on to that basement site.
Okay, a couple of easy picks start to ring out as the body shots go down. Man advantage is back into the hands of Wolves as they're starting to get aggressive. They're starting to wake up a little bit, feeling the hunger and what?
Lydia, let's go.
Yow! Okay, equalized on that number count. Minute and a half left. Defense starting to feel a little bit better about the number count here. That man equalization scenario now making the push down this back exo stairs. Takes a quick shot with the Vector. Is able to find one. 3v2 now with a minute 18. Just dancing around the pillar. A C4 to make some movement. He's not going to do so. So blown sky high, my friend. All that's left is Sledge. 2 grenades. L85 and a dream in this 1v3.
That was a fantastic play there. Rockstar locked in on Pillar on the Exo side, plays it perfectly, swings one, he picks up the kill. He's allowed to reload from behind the pillar. C4 cleans it up downstairs in a 2v1 scenario where the one comes out on top for both. Lydia, who has been on fire, gets the final kill upstairs and absolutely locked in at this point. And you know what? It still honestly feels a little bit too close to call here right now. It's the great thing about Siege. Any given Saturday, somebody can pick up a win.
Yep, I guess that is true. Night Haven quickly starting to come to a close here, my friend. And yeah, look at that. Just absolutely wiped off the board, and then a steadfast hold leading down to this 1v3. It's just looking better, right? It feels more prepared. It feels more awake. It feels ready to go. And man, if you're a Wolves fan, it's like, hey, it's time to wake up. This is it.
100%. And the fact that we saw 4AM lose the second floor was a little bit surprising, again, off the individual heroics there that managed to keep this team left alive and in it. So can they pull it off a second time? I mean, overall, the team is certainly balanced. CPK at the Magic, KD, recap the reverse. Those two guys certainly need to keep this team in it, and they've got not very much opportunity to try and pull it off. Gotti has been insane at 12-4 at this point, and Rockstar not that far behind at 9-4. Those guys have been locked in at this point. So, you know what? They've given them feels like a bit of an opportunity. They're not gonna have any trouble getting again all of these walls open. And Glaz is on the board. The 4AM team banned the Ying, not wanting to deal with it, giving Glaz away here to the attackers. So can they use these hard breaches and the long angle opportunity to make this difficult for the defense? They're going to need to catch a couple early ones here and not, I was about to say, not solo push into kitchen, but Recap's going to take it. And is he going to prove me wrong with the fight downstairs?
Oh, it feels like they got a little bit of information towards this. They heard the window. He's holed up into the hallway, but sound can work both ways. Dokkaebi call goes off. He knows one's close. He's going to take a quick look. Not going to do it. Instead, they're going to back off, live to fight another day. And now everybody still remains alive in this last 2 minutes here. Glass making his way towards the catwalk, onto the barbed wire. A quick peek in here might get him a little bit of a reward, but they made it back through the rotate. Everybody's safe and sound, and now he just sits waiting for the swing.
Barbed wire did it. Barbed wire saved the lives there of the defenders as he tried to push in, allowed them to make the rotate back through the rotate, as it were. Now all locked in. They've given away a ton of space here to this Wolves attack team. So now they've got a couple long-range weapons holding onto this space. The Jinxie 4C. C4 goes out over top of the generator and electrical, and you know what? Huge pick there, taking down the Twitch, and they lose another DMR. So the Glaz here, he's the guy. He needs to stay alive, and they need to win these battles. He's the last hope. And Rockstar is going to pad his KD, taking out a teammate.
Still holding on to the man advantage, even with that accidental TK. 57 seconds left as the 4v3 starts to get a little bit of closer. Pressure from the main breach, pressure from the catwalk, but they are still locked down between this invisible wall that the defense has set up. A DMR, a double swing off of it. Glass is going to find one in the 1-for-1. 3v2 now as they start to make the win. He's got the diffuser. They can potentially get in and start to plan off the smoke, but first they have to dislodge the player off the chassis here. Still holding on to it. They're not going to give him anything, and they've got a close swing as well. So double duty for Glass to start working. Yeah, I guess that would be a good point. 21 seconds now. It starts to count down. Dokkaebi goes down. It's all going to be onto Glass's shoulders, and he can't get it done. Absolutely slaughtered trying to make the swing, and it is just 4 angry men looking incredible, my friend.
It looks like 5 angry men, but 5 happy men on top of this one. They pick up a solid win over the Wolves. Wolves really struggled on this map. Looked at, just not like the team that we've seen that took down a map off of the All Gamers. And you know what? They may have been smiling, laughing during that break. I think it's because, like we said, they've already earned their spot to Salt Lake. there is some ego on the line here, obviously, for the inaugural season of the CNL to come out on top. But man, right now, 4 Angry Men just feel like the guys to move on, and the inevitable battle at the end is going to include that team, it feels like.
Okay, well, map 1, my friends, is over and done, and it was a little bit of a spanking. Hoping to see a little bit more action out of map 2, but first we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about it. Ayo.
Let's go.
Well, we thought maybe, but just maybe, that there would be more coming out of the Wolves camp, but much like our first series of the day, 4 Angry Men are indeed angry, and they're firing on all cylinders. A very brutal shutdown of the Wolves coming in Nighthaven Labs. Joining me back on the desk, Diana and, of course, Travi. They coming into it. There was hopes that Wolves could really mount something, but 4 Angry Men, clearly they've gotten up on the wrong side of the bed. They've not had their coffee in the morning because they are very grumpy.
Listen, I don't know what happened with Wolves, but already starting on the defense with a, 5-1 split is not the greatest start for Nighthaven Labs. Already mentioned, it is like Clubhouse. You're going to have to play it step by step, and I didn't see the steps. Wolves, they didn't seem to have a clear plan what to do in the defense, or rather what to do in the attack. 4 Angry Men on the other side, well, they showed that they're angry, and they got those rounds very strategic, very slow, very step by step, but they made it clear they're not going to miss a step, they're not going to make a mistake, and that's what they showed in those few rounds.
Well, Travi, they do say those who cannot do teach, and Gotti comes in and says that is the furthest thing from the truth. From team coach to team core and dropping bombs like that, this guy is clearly not a fake. He's not a fraud. He is the real deal.
Inside of that one really stems from those big name players. They weren't making the impact that they always do, and then because they don't have that more experience backline, they really struggled to keep themselves competitive, and that's where you saw the divide between these teams grow round by round.
Yeah, look, it goes from bad to worse pretty quickly. A 5-1 split in the half D, and then it doesn't really take much more beyond that to close out the first map of that series in Nighthaven Labs. But we're going to something a little bit more stable, a little bit more staple in the CNL. It should be, realistically, theoretically, a better spot for Wolves to mount a campaign, surely. But gentlemen, lady, it's time to look to our game 2, and the Whiskies are waiting in the wings.
Hey, yo, okay, thank you so much. You heard it. Bit of a struggle, bit of a climb back, but maybe Chalet's the place to mount that battle, my friend. Whiskey, we're back, and it's one of your favorite maps.
Absolutely, my friend, and welcome back, everyone, to map 2 of this best of 3 between 4 AM and the Wolves, and you said it. This, one of my favorite maps. I love Chalet. Sort of gives you that opportunity for a little bit of a different vibe for this team, so very much looking forward to see what they can do, because it was a stomping over on Nighthaven Labs 7-2 victory, and honestly the only guy that even showed up was Recap, sitting at 7-7. None of the other players even positive on the KD side. Very much struggled to get anything going. Now is their opportunity. The hard breaches going to be a little bit more difficult. None of the Breach Now ops banned this time, and they're going to take away the Mira. You know what? And I love the way that this map plays out. It's got a little bit of that big map feel. 3 full floors, but close quarter combat, as we get to see a little bit of, the cut lines happen and really focused intensity on this map.
Starting up onto the second floor, right? Kind of the question, where does it go? Is internationally sort of attacker-sided now, Chalet, right? So a little bit of a solved site on the second floor as well, but not to, the Wolves aren't really concerned about it. They're going to go up to the top, and they're going to bring out quite a few pace setters here, Run. Frost on the board, Denari, those trapped trip connectors set up, which could only be assumed as blocking off that piano bathroom area. I mean, it looks like this Wolves defense is set up to really dig on in.
Now, we heard the analysts talk about it here that, this really feels like it should be Wolves' map, maybe a little bit better here. But Gotti coming out as the MVP. He was the guy, 14-4. Rockstar, 12-4 as well. And you know what? An insane 3K clutch there from Gotti to keep this team in it. We talk about Recap already struggling, but he's not going to be the first guy that goes down. They're going to lose the Thorn to the down here on the Library side. And Grim not banned. One of the first times I think you and I have even seen him in play is going to give away that intel. And look at that. Rockstar working off that intel. And they're going to get the opening pick early in this match. 30 seconds in, and they already lost a player. So now, Library control, and really this whole side of the map control, as the Wolves defense needs to fall back more onto the bedroom office side of the map.
Do have a couple of players down onto the first floor as well. Denari now has just made his way back up to the top as well. So still got a little bit of that lurk roll in play, hoping to catch somebody slip in as they go for some of that last minute play. Clutch drone is in the hands, and it's going to get rid of some of this extension util. We're talking trip connectors on this one as it's trying to unlock that piano hallway for this final minute and 30. The big problem, Run, they've still got a Maestro they got to deal with once they make it into sight.
Yeah, the thing is, they've got the Brava in hand. Gotti's there, has the Brava, ready for it to try and catch one of these, the Maestro cams, steal it away, and then use that counter intel to try and work around it at this point. And obviously, they're going to try and catch those, but no mute jammers to prevent the entry in, both from the Flores or from the Brava at this point. And Flores can just get rid of them if he can get that opportunity. But man, Recap on this Frost right now is just being devastating over on the Fluke Balk door. You've got two over on Mezzanine, not quick enough there, and look at that. The Deimos is going to catch him off guard. Somehow he manages to stay alive, though, despite being constantly pinged.
And they do get the down onto the Denari as well, and might be potentially recoverable here as those bees have gone off and revealed his location as close as well. But, man, kind of big damage done here by the Wolves as they find themselves up at a main advantage by 2. Now looking to claim it a little bit closer to an equalizer, and they are going to get one off the board. Ooh, a second onto the half wall, almost gets a reward, but can't quite come up with it just yet. A 3v2 with 12 seconds left means they're going to have to shoot and get in, my friend. They did get the one Maestro cam, but Maestro himself will just end the round. Cams be damned, they're just going to find it.
Wild there, absolutely locked in. Solid play and intel for days is what really carried that Wolves team through. Constant pings coming out. He's able to hold on to the long angle from Piano. No real pressure. I think we saw 3, 4, 5 deaths at the top of that mezzanine, whether it was from the attackers or from the defense. Honestly, I like that Thorn goes for the super aggression here. It's unfortunate to lose your players so quick. Look at this. Gotti holding on to the big DMR from Brava, not able to close out the round. Got close though, but unfortunately, again, just locked in upstairs. And the second floor comes out successful for the defense, and they're going to make the rotate onto the other side of the map, down to the bar gaming side. And Rooney's going to open up these long sight lines there over on the kitchen dining side. So it really felt like from the Wolves side, a little bit of initial pressure there from the Library side, then completely backed off and held on to both the first and second floor over on the Master Office side, and that was all they needed. Gave up a little bit of that space down on the first floor, allowed the Deimos to operate independently, but they had an answer for that too. So it feels like Wolves in maybe a little bit better spot coming into this. Now, as I say that, Wolves won the opening round on the previous map, and that one goes 7-2. So 4AM locks in at this point. Wolves still might be in for an uphill battle here on Chalet.
Well, it's a big first step, right? Get one on the board, show that they can bleed, and try to catch another couple, right? Maybe it's a little bit more of those boxes that I was talking about getting checked off. They found themselves a couple more rounds, and all of a sudden you lead to maybe a scoreline advantage. It's in the cards. It could be there, Wolves. It's in your hands to do it, though. They got a bit of an extension, obvious here with the castle on board and playing up vertically as well. Man, first kill, though, unfortunate. Is just going to jump in sight and claim one. And now fires are going to ring out, and that's going to force him to move back downstairs. But instead, he's just going to get pinched out. Man advantage by 2, and disaster starting to strike again here for this Wolves defense.
First minute is gone, and you talked about side stats early on this map, and it's attacker sided, not just internationally, but here in the CNL specifically. We're talking about a 40% defensive win rate, almost 60% of the time. The attackers are winning rounds here, so the fact that the Wolves pick up 1. Honestly, is fantastic. That's basically at 5v1 territory. Now, the problem is you're obviously going to have to, even if you lose 5 defensive rounds, you're going to have to come out very strong with little room to operate here. So the fact that this is their map pick, and right now this one is looking very good for the 4 a.m. side, and really before anything is able to get going on the defense side on that hold, they push in library, complete control, and they don't even have to get the diffuser down. They clean it up. The guns, my friends. Solid kills.
Man, and can we just highlight some of that gun mechanic? Just absolutely. Some of these shops are just devastating. And how do you even see him when he goes in to make the peak? Well, it's something you're just going to have to deal with defense. And I get onto some of those better angles, harder fought. Maybe, I don't know what's the play here. What's the win con run? Is it get a little bit more aggressive? I mean, we've seen some aggression. On the defense, they're checking the boxes. They've got the extensions. They've got the vertical. They've got pace setters on it. Honestly, just losing the gunfights here.
I mean, let's start off with number 1. Don't be throwing away the roamers to individual gunfights. I mean, I think having a little bit of early aggression there is fine. Obviously, Thorn was in a tough spot on that first round. She loses her life, but you know what? You put a little bit of aggression, slow this team down, and give them some pause, force them into droning, forcing them into taking a little bit more time to work through. And then, you know what? Try and regroup, back up, support the team, right? If you give this 4 a.m. attack individual roamers to try and work around, they're going to clear that space off, and that certainly becomes more difficult. So that to me is where I'd love to see this team is they won that first round, bunkered back onto the second floor office site, really didn't give up any of that space, dodged the bullets there and could have a little bit of pinch play when it came down to the final execute. We've rarely seen the 4 a.m. team get into a situation where they needed it to execute because they're winning too many of the fights early on this map. So, Nighthaven Labs as well. So give them some more opportunity to work and execute, and maybe that's the spot where you take the advantage.
Okay, well, when you say it like that, seems simple enough. We'll see if Wolves have got a little bit in the tank for this next bit of gut check. Yokai drones are on the board, so I'm going to try to do some area denial with a little bit of intel as well. Onto the kitchen side, and they've already got themselves some good real estate from the library side over. Now, here's the big next step. Get the main breach opened, force some of those defenders back, get that breach down below opened up, and if you've gained a little bit of space, the potential to plant becomes a little bit clearer. Obviously, sans the yokai drones.
Oh, I wanted to see this on the previous map as well. Use the two-brow to try and slow down this opening play, right? Slow down the walls getting opened. And you know what? You had the combination of the two-brow and the mute and the Cade here was absolutely going to slow this down, forces the attacking team into running the Thatcher. It's exactly what they needed to do. Use up and spent a lot of time. It's a minute 11 left. That's what we said. Get this team into an execute kind of a scenario and then work off that space. And unfortunately, Recap goes down to that opening C4 or to the opening pick there. He's not able to slow the open breach this time. But you know what? It's an execute scenario. 50 seconds left here for this team. It's a 5v4. There's plenty of defensive assets in play to win out this round and force 4 a.m. into being more careful as they push in.
Yeah, gonna start to rely on some of these C4s. They've pushed that vertical presence back quite a bit. Now, they still maintain it up there, but not really in a great position to deny the execute from going down, and then just swing in, find a quick wall bang. You got a man advantage by 2 now, by 3, as it just continues on. The onslaught here gets onto the chassis. C4 does go out, not able to connect, which means they're going to try it again. Echo drone
nice yokai.
dealt with. Yeah, but they got it off the board. 9 seconds. Where's the other ones at? That's going to be the big question. Oh, he gets it again. And it's all going to be up to the Echo. 3 seconds left now. If he's going to be able to do it through the hatch, he takes it down. Plant is going down. He's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. A couple of shots through, but no, not going to happen. No clutch scenario. Almost pulls it off, but can't quite get it done.
Man, what a hero play that one would have been. Insane hero play. The yokais come out, and he had the drone in the basement through the hatch. That thing pops up top, goes for the plant denial. He loses it at the last second and then makes the hero play downstairs. If he hits that planter with that gun from all the way back on the trophy stairs, man, absolute legend status, my friend. Oh, such a great play. I thought he was going to win it, and you know what? He came that close. That's going to keep the vibes high for this Wolves team. They may have lost the round, but you forced 4AM into an execute, and you almost pulled off a win. Much, much closer battle between these teams when they got into that kind of a situation. That is the place that they can crack the armor of this 4AM team, and they absolutely have to, because they're in a must-win scenario here on Shaolei if they want to make it into that lower final versus EDG.
Man. Yeah, slow it down. Watch that one again. 2 rounds in a row and then follow it up with a wall bang. Definitely some individual heroics that can still keep some of those rounds alive when maybe they should have fallen a little bit more dead in the water. Either way, 4AM up by 1 as that first quarter of rounds is done. So, what's the adaptation here by the Wolves defense? Well, I think they're leaning into more of that time torch, which is something you were sort of talking about, right? You see the Fenrir, the Malusis, a Rooney with the DMR, and those laser gates on the board. Hopefully, just trying to slow this attacking 4AM down just as much as possible. Hopefully, get a little bit closer to side, play a little bit closer of the zone coverage, and they might come up with an equalizer here.
The other thing we saw from this 4AM attack on the second floor on a bedroom attack was they were pretty one-sided overall. Took the library, took the mez, and then focused the entire execute on that side of the map. Very little pressure over on the solar side. Very little pressure coming from like the trophy side of the map. So there's an opportunity here for this Wolves defense. 4AM follows that same strat, which right now, a minute into the round, they're following a very similar strategy here. All focused over on the library side, slowly trying to get some space and an answer back. Man, that is payback for map 1. Feng and the Wamai takes down Gotti, who's sitting at 3-1. Huge opening pick for this team.
Absolutely, and Feng's first onto the board, so a little bit of a momentum starter in his arena as well. In through mud, looks for a shot from Gaming, can't quite find it. Wall bangs, nothing there, and he's going to have to rotate back on out. Live pings do get there, but he's going to get himself to a little bit of safety here and survive just a little bit longer, especially since they're down in the man advantage. No need to throw that number. There's still plenty of time to find an isolation and then get yourself in position to get an execute, but it's not going to happen that way. Not with Fang catching his second of the round. Even amidst the Deimos ping, third to fall now as all of a sudden Wolves have come alive a little bit here, run 5v2 and the best opportunity for an equalization that we've seen. He's taken a couple of long shots in towards that breach area up top, but it's all for naught. He can't quite get the good look, and instead they're going to be locked in library.
Said it, man, that they read into the 4AM attack, and they're being again very one-dimensional. You're going to leave everybody pushing over on the library mez side. You can just hold long angles and take some shots, and they win it. Now, obviously, you see this team answer back. 4AM picks up a kill, takes down Recap as the guy that was holding on to that close angle. But yeah, same thing. You're going to try and get this team into an execute situation in a 4v2 scenario. Trigger discipline, my friends. Wait it out 30 seconds. Let them get the plant down and then collapse on the execute and win round. They can pull it off. You know what? Capital still sitting at 4-1 though with the DMR, so they are dangerous. It can't be willy-nilly about it.
Pushing in, final few seconds, shots over the half wall. They're going to set out the Capital bolts, and that's going to just start to the hold. It's a 1v4. Now he makes a swing, and they're not going to do it. Wolves are going to tie it up, and a little bit of signs of life out of this defense on Chalet.
Yep, reading into the 4AM attack perfectly. It's surprising to me that it felt like 4AM telegraphed that too clearly, right? Exactly the same style of attack we saw from round 1 and from round 4. They tried it again here at the start of the second quarter. You didn't have a two-brow on the side of the defense, but that was not the difference maker. They still had a DMR in hand. They still had a great hold over on this the office side and had it locked down. And 4AM honestly felt like they could have executed that better, certainly, when it came down to those final moments. They had the plant going down on half wall, but clearly not enough space. Wolves played it perfectly, did not overswing that initially, didn't feed bodies, and waited till you had the plant going down so you could go 1v2, 1v3 on the guy who was trying to cover the plant at the same time and made it look easy. That's what we needed from this Wolves team on their map pick. So, 4AM though made a mistake. Can they get better as this game moves on? Are they going to be the dominating team we saw from Nighthaven to hold this Wolves team to 2 rounds again? Or are they going to have to be perfect from this point onwards? And honestly, Wolves feels like they are better here on their map pick, and it's going to get closer than that, my friend.
Feels good to see it tied up. If we're calling it attacker-sided, then Wolves have hit the quota. Anything outside of this is a little icing on the cake. So you got to be feeling good about that, especially if you've got some devilish plans on the attack side of it, maintaining that same sort of aggression. It's a fairly stock standard defense. A little bit of area denial. In fact, they double up on it here as they're holding on. Bandit going to be the first to go down, though. Unfortunate look. He gets taken off the board, and that's going to be a man advantage back into the hands of 4AM as, man, they feel good inside of that first minute.
That's unfortunate. We've been talking about Recap this entire match as well. He's the top-rated player on the Wolves side, although pretty low in the overall leaderboard for the CNL. But he was also the MVP from the last round, if you wanted to call it that, on the defensive side, going 7-7 as the best player on his team. And right now, struggling to get anything done. At 1-4 at this point. The opening pick several times, and the rest of the team stepping up to the challenges. They lose the hero from the previous map, and now down to a 4v1 scenario with a minute 35 left. No way.
Tough position to find yourself in. Gets a little bit closer, but a quick swing with a shotty in hand, and all of a sudden, Wolves have got themselves a score line advantage. Yeah, a little bit of chirping, a little bit of chatting. It's all smiles and laughs on the Wolves side as they start to feel a little bit of that momentum shifting into their corner. Locked it in on defense, held on to a little bit closer together. Played the trade game a little bit well. The power of friendship sees Wolves to a scoreline advantage.
Oh, it's the first time they've seen a series lead on a map since round 1 on either of the maps that they've played. So, huge opportunity here for this team. The best we've seen the Wolves play on defense on their map. The interesting thing here, right, is obviously attacker-sided, but the fact that 4AM picked into running the attack on this map, to me, felt like they felt much more confident than we've seen them play so far. You said it, 2 rounds is the quota here on this for an attacker-sided map, and the Wolves on defense have already pulled off 3. So the question is, how good is 4AM going to be on defense? Obviously, they are going to need to win this round. And you force this team, they found wins on the second floor. They found one win on the bar gaming side. So now they get to play kitchen dining. And we saw this one back on round 3. It was a solid win from 4AM, but it was the one that got close with the echo play downstairs. They've run a completely different lineup here this time. And the fact that we're seeing the Vigil over here on the library side from Fang, I mean, this is the same place we saw him go down with the Thorn early on, and he's being much more cautious this time around.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's the same play, Run.
Well, damn it, I thought he's playing the Vigil. He's going to pick this one up.
Man, I don't know. In what world are we running it back? Oh, completely sussed out and pays for his hubris on that one, my friend. Vigil done data. Wolves now with a bit of a man disadvantage here. There's still plenty of time to get to an equalization here. There's still plenty of work for the attackers to do, but that one, I don't know, Run, feels like a bit of a miss to me.
Yeah, okay. You know what? He's sitting at 2, 4, and 3. Picked up a couple of assists here. Running the Vigil could have been certainly more use at putting some pressure rather than hiding under the window. That's a little bit of a ranked strat play rather than you're talking about lower bracket semifinal for a team that has already qualified to the major kind of a play here. But Lita, 5 and 3, was ready to answer back here. And right now, everybody except for Darkly is looking fantastic on this map so far from the 4 a.m. side. The problem is they haven't been able to convert those stats into round wins. Now they've got a huge opportunity here with at least taking down one, giving them a 4v5 advantage here for the final minute, but Wolves is going to do the same thing, allow 4 a.m. to get into an execute spot downstairs. They're putting in the work, opening up all this space. You've got the Thatcher in play, and there it is, watching for the C4 to come out through the top. They're going to let this wall get open, but it is going to be a sub-minute execute with a very significant defense still holding on to the space despite having 5 attackers, my friend. 45 seconds left. Who's taking this one?
Good question. Good question. They've got a hold here off the chassis and the half wall. Waiting for the smokes. There's still a C4 in the pocket of Mute in case they get a little cheeky for an execute. The fires go down. You're going to try to keep some of these defenders at bay, but not going to force any movement. Not in a position to really, oh, yep, there it is. Onto the half wall. Some damage done. Mute starting to get hurt. Makes the rotate. Gets taken off the board. That's the C4 done and dusted. Answered back, though. Frost finds it. Cade to go down. 4v2 with 12 seconds left. Equalizes. The double rings out. All of a sudden, there's a pressure situation for this attacking team. Gridlock on a low health scenario. 4 seconds left. Has to get up to be able to block this or to protect this plant as they make the swing. Frost is there. He's going to go ahead and stick it in the 1v2, but it's not going to be enough. Frost gets in, finds the kill, and Wolves are going to take the half in a 4-2 split on the defensive side.
Vibes are high, my friend. Look at that. Solid play. Recap comes out on top and manages to catch this team. I thought for a second there that they were going to throw this map as we saw 4 a.m. just absolutely lock in. They get the plant down. Post-plant, though, played perfectly by Wolves as once again we go into the mid-game pause, laying back, relaxing.
连接都打不开的，老爸开不带 C 波的，哇！爸，你真火了，真姐！我直接祝你儿逃命吧，拜拜。没招了，好，没招了，对面啊，2个人把他架
The Wolves move right there.
I'll tell you what, Run. Yeah, vibes are high. You can hear them laughing, lean back. I mean, this is just playing a video game that they love at this point.
I had to be careful of that. I was about to fall asleep. I was like starting to feel the vibes already come in and take me down, joining the Wolves, relaxing mid-map here because high energy during the game. But then, man, just sit back, relax, have some fun, brother.
There it is. Yeah, nice and easy, my friend.
Man, I love this game.
One outside west wing, okay? After they take the kitchen and the dining, they will go 3 guy in solar. Maybe it's a capital or it's a 3 guy, but overall the lineup is not confirmed because they will pick random pick. But like a 3 guy in solar side, and 1 guy in big window, and 1 guy will control flank in the dining and the kitchen, or he will try to find some flank, find some gas. Okay.
You should say what should we do?
Okay. What should we do? Just watch the vert, watch the west wing vert, and watch the short vert. I will make short vert, okay? And try and Darkly just you 1v1 with the lobby guy, okay? If he want to push in.
Okay. There you go, Run. That's the play. They're expecting a lot of that solar side overplay. Look like coach was wanting to get in and say something, but hey, when the leader's talking, you listen, right? He's got a plan in place. We'll see if comms pay off on this back half here.
Yeah, that was it was Lita talking there, and yeah, the coaches are like, like wanted to say something, and yeah, you said it's just okay. IGL was calling it. They're going to watch out for the vert here from this team as well, as now the Wolves go on to the attacking side on attacking map up 4-2, and the Ying and the Glaz go down. Really not surprising there with how often they've been banned on this map, and really in the league overall. That is going to allow the Grim to make it through at least for one round, and then on the Wolves side, take down the Cade and the Clash. And you know what? I think Cade really brings an awful lot for that defensive side. Force the attackers into running. The Thatcher is the alternative. Bandit's a little bit easier to deal with, certainly with the attacker util. You don't necessarily have to run the Thatcher as the alternative. And second floor was very successful for the defense the first half of this game. So we're going to see it again. Internationally, I know we've really seen the rise of the first floor, the mid-floor sites on the maps, but right here in the CNL, 2F is where it's at.
Okay, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it seems to be working out well. We'll see if 4AM is going to be able to have that same sort of success the Wolves are bringing to the table. They've got some intel. Solus is out and about with a P90 in hand, looking to play some of that Chaos Agent down onto the first floor. Love the play. Love seeing Solus starting to get utilized quite a bit. And, you know, of course, a little bit of that vertical play from below couldn't help when the plant starts to go down. Other than that, feels pretty business as usual here for this 4AM team. Let's see if they've got enough to stop this first bit of aggression when they start to make their way in. And I'm thinking that Deimos.
100%. The thing is, the 4AM team, we knew that they were expecting the vertical. They're expecting the Deimos to come in and be a significant part of this, including the Capital. I mean, this 4AM defense really read into exactly what the Wolves were going to do. Obviously studied up. They're ready. They have to be coming in to the Salt Lake City Major and potentially going to play this team again at some point if you can keep it high and take down the European, Asia, and North American teams. When we get to Salt Lake, starting to burn a lot of time though. First minute is gone already. No engagements at this point. No lives lost. No health lost at this point. As really, Wolves are moving, it feels like a little bit slow here on this play.
Time torch starting to play out, and there's some engagement. Twitch going to see a little bit of action, is going to get away with the tail tuck between their legs. Grenade's going to go out, force the movement onto the rotate. P90 will find one. Defense finds two as the man advantage is now into the hands of 4AM. Looking for the window play, but Siege timing might claim his head. He does get back into the corner, but he's still in a very dangerous spot as now there's two cuts set potentially on his rotate back in. So locked into the corner. Grim Bees start to come out. Man advantage by 1 to 4AM, but still plenty of time. Grismod out, hopefully a little bit of that disorientation, and find ourselves in a hurry up and hold pattern.
Honestly, dodging the Grimbees there potentially saved his life. We might have seen the attackers push in with the knowledge of exactly where he is, but he dodged it, survives, and is able to toss out, you said, at the Grismod. 4v3 scenario, 50 seconds left, and you still have got a little bit of execute utility here in play. Capital still has all of his bolts. That is a significant play, and he's going to find a kill on Darkly to tie this thing up. 40 seconds left, though, my friend.
Okay, starting to get where that execute needs to happen. Grim Bees will go out, and that's going to reveal location. P90 finds one. Main advantage back to 4AM. Equalized into the 2-2 with 29 as they start to hold on. Both defenders up onto the top floor now as Diffuser is down into the hallway of Trophy, and Twitch will pick it up as they make their way up. Malusi Gadget, the Banshee, will give away a sound cue, as well as the BP still watching from the top of Solar, waiting for that rotate. Fenrir Gadget does go off, stops him as he makes his way in, finds one. 7 seconds left, has to be good for two, but ain't gonna find one as the MP7 connects again.
Gotti just a little bit better there, holding onto the bedside, and they individually push in through the door from Solar and punish the Wolves player for really making a couple mistakes there at the end of the round. Solo push through a doorway is the play you want to try. I understand you don't have a lot of time left, but man, they just fed him kills, and as you like to say, man, he ate buffet line over at the top of Solar Stairs, and gonna give this 4AM team defensive win, and now I'm a little bit shocked. It looked like they had a great play here. They had really trapped the defense downstairs, had gained a little bit of man advantage. We sort of went 1-for-1, but yeah, look at this great replay and just shows where Gotti's skills lied.
Okay, well, if they had a layered defense for that last one, they're going to triple up on it this time and still bringing the intel, still bringing Solus onto the board. But this time, we're adding some trip connectors and area denial to the play as well. So, again, just trying to take down some of that, some of those drones as it makes it a little bit more difficult to get in. And, of course, that all-too-powerful debuff once you finally make it into the area they're pushing. So, if they had a little bit of a struggle on the last one, you're going to have to move with a little bit more speed on this next round, or they could find themselves in a very similar situation.
That's the struggle I feel like we've seen from this Wolves attack, is moving too slow here, just giving the 4AM team time to work around, reposition, and reset, even if they get into that man-down position. So it's only one we've seen so far. Going to work on clearing this space upstairs on that second floor, but look at this. A little bit of engagement downstairs, a battle in the garage between Recap and Gotti. The two top players on the teams, only one going to come out alive. Neither one of them are going to give up this space, and who's going to win this battle, my friend?
Flash rings out, takes a couple of more shots as they play Ring Around the Rosie here on this guitar. And look at this, does get himself out in enough of a safe haven to live to die another day. Nobody taking any damage on that one. So first minute gone and the discovery phase used up. And part of that already saw a little bit of gunplay.
Wow, they shocked me. I thought we were going to see the two top frags do battle downstairs in the garage, but you know what? They are better team players. Back off the engagement, let it happen naturally upstairs. Don't throw away your life in what was a little bit of an engagement downstairs. You know what? Well played on both of their sides, and the reason it made it this far. Still 5 stacked apiece. The first half of this round is gone. Defense, locked in. Solid control over on, still holding on all of that space, and we're only seeing the attackers start to make a little bit of a room over here at the top floor, and they're still going to have to make the transition down. Recap is still in the basement looking for somebody lurking, but again, 4AM not feeding him any bodies.
Final 60 as we get it onto the clock. Air jabs go out as they start to make this push towards the top of blue. No shield is going to see, oh man, double duty going down for the attacking squad, but it gets equalized as they make that push up towards library. P90 is going to find it, answered again. It's got it, goes down now into a 1v2. Smoke the last alive with 43 seconds. They've got themselves a little bit of sight control looking toward, or a little bit of that main lobby control as they're looking towards that closet. He is sussed out, and it's going to be a wall bang to take it. Wolves yet again find themselves on the winning end of the round.
All right. 4AM feeling like they are falling apart a little bit. I know this is the Wolves map pick, so we expected them to come in better, but how lopsided that first map was, and how lopsided many of the maps have been here on the CNL. When one team really grabs that momentum, they're able to carry that forward all the way to the end of the series, it has seemed like, but Wolves are not done yet. They have got some life left in them, and they have managed to catch this team off guard, and right now sitting at 3-5, 1 round away from match point. This is a different Wolves team than we saw in Nighthaven Labs.
Well, you know, for the entertainment value run, I mean, we would not mind a map 3, right? And we go to Border. That's right. We go to Border for the next one as well, which just promises to be chaos. So Wolves 1 away from that coveted match point scenario, looking to lock up map 2 and have a shot at taking it towards that map 3. This is the best position they've been in the entire series. Now they got double hard breach. So they're going to be trying to open everything up, create a bunch of avenues to be able to get into sight and claim some of that vertical presence. Twitch again going to get going with that little sniper drone and try to get rid of as much of this extension utilism as they possibly can. Mainly talking, we're looking for cameras and those Thorn gadgets to get off the board for that final bit of a push. Attackers are locked up to try to lock this one in, Run.
Feels good right now. Feels good. 4 a.m. You said lock in. That's where 4 a.m. needs to be at this point. Another first floor site. So the mid floor in play. They couldn't go back to the 2F since they had already found the win there. So where does this 4 a.m. team want to run? Yeah, right now holding onto the solar side. Maybe expecting them to sort of adapt around it. It's where we saw a ton of the action happen on that previous match. Smokes are going out already. Feels like a little bit early for some of that execute, but just covering some of the sight lines here as they gain space upstairs on the second floor. Only 2 of this defense is already in that spot. And there it is. You can see the Thatcher Thermite combo going to work. Oh, but blocked by the Tuberov. Rockstar sitting at 4 and 7. I mean, really was one of the heroes of that previous round. It hasn't been able to find some of that same success. And look at this Thatcher ready and waiting. Nothing to catch, though, as the Tuberov gadget just slows this attack down as the first half of the round is burned. We're still sitting 5-all.
I believe do end up getting that breach opened up as Tuberov has made that rotate back just a little bit farther. Still got plenty of folks up onto the top floor, 3 of them, but now Attack has checked off some pretty important boxes as they head towards the execute. They've managed to push the defenders back off potential chassis plant from the vertical. They've opened up that main breach down below, which means now it's time to just find that first kill. Happens onto the side of the 4 a.m. Could spell trouble for Wolves. Wolves want 1 before going for the execute, but they are lined up and ready. Down below, taking the scenic route. Thorn pays the price, double rings out, and that's going to take 2 off the board, including Gotti, who goes down. 5v3 with 33 seconds left. Smoke start to go out. Does try to make a flank up West Main, but gets absolutely deleted as the F2 has something to say about it. Pushed in, run. We might be looking at a match point scenario here as the plant starting to go down.
Wolves are just better, my friend, as they find another, and you said it, puts us on match point scenario here on map 2. 4 a.m. may have dominated Nighthaven Labs 7-2 victory, but when it comes down to it, Wolves have completely shown up in a different space this time around, and that third quarter dominated by the Wolves. They managed to lose, the second floor, no big deal, but claim both first floor sites on attack. And you can see it on their faces again. Vibes are high over on the Wolves side. They were just warming up on Nighthaven, and now a map 3 of Border feels like it is getting much closer at this point. And if the 4 a.m. team really felt better with a strategy, a structure style of play on a big map like Nighthaven, Wolves in a small map chalet border scenario might be the team that moves on here.
Man, if you would have said that during the predictions, I'd have called you maybe a bit silly on that one, but absolutely, Wolves have showed up here on Chalet, looking to make a bid towards that map 3, and could get a little contested, right? We're talking structure versus some of that chaos that rings out that Wolves bring to the table. You got to get through this one first. We're now headed into that best for scenario as we round out this timeout. Everybody talked about it. Fist bumps go, which means we're ready to get back into it.
Feeling good. Time to get close to the monitor. Lock in, brother. Get down to it. One more round, and it's going to be upstairs on the second floor. They're not going to play the basement side. I thought they might rotate down after taking the timeout. Where do you want to see the change up? Where do you want to see this game flow go? The Wolves defense lost upstairs on the second floor, and I don't feel like you want to give this 4 a.m. defense any of this momentum here. And so, right, if the Wolves have found success on the other sites, I mean, maybe show something that you haven't seen. You're giving away the defensive play here. And honestly, we talked about it. The Wolves misplayed that second floor site, which is feeding bodies to Gotti. Are they going to do that again? This feels like we said, a different team, and is not going to throw those rounds away.
4 a.m. best for 3. Not a bad position to find yourself in. It's still winnable, right? It's not a complete blowout like, say, oh, I don't know, a 7-2. At least a little bit one better. We'll find out if they can capitalize off it. It's looking quite cheeky here for the Wolves. They bring the blitz and the Finka along, and the sense does say that maybe we might get something a little bit quicker when the execute does go down. There could be some speed associated with it. Look at this, already postured up onto the door. They might just get it in and active very quickly onto the half wall. It's going to take the Banshee gadget down. Flash goes out. Quick trade does take us into a 4-2, a 4-3 now. Man advantage into 4 a.m. as they were absolutely ready for it. Sen's gadget is out. Diffuser is cold, however, so the numbers get equalized. Now into a 3-3. Some window play does find the equalization. Still looking as they got a few members off site still playing onto that. A quick rotate over. Ella goes down.
Faded.
A little bit of damage onto the Malusi now as well. She's just a bullet. Still so much time. Does get in. Stops it onto the blue stairs as well. Now puts us into a 1v3. MP7 to find one. Looks towards the window. Can't quite get it yet. No diffuser in hand means they're going to have to try to isolate for the kills, and they do exactly that, my friend. Wolves take it. We're getting ourselves a map 3.
Wow, shocker at the end. And you know what? The super fast push in, losing the blitz and the Finka at the same time in the office side, that looked like it was going to be the success that the 4 a.m. team needed to push this map further along. But the Wolves answered back, solid play. And you said it, map 3, my friend, on the way. We were just about to start talking about, from the analyst side, some of the different things we saw in this map, but really a different Wolves team showed up here to Chalet on their map pick. And now, man, feels like it is a little bit too close to call.
Okay, well, the question is, are the Wolves awake? Map 2 says yes, indeed. They are awake and ready for map number 3. First, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about it, my friends. Map 3 incoming. Heyo.
Let's go.
Okay, this time for real. As we jump into it, who would have thought lightning strikes it twice? Wolves turn it on once again on Chalet. That's where it turned around yesterday against King Zero Esports, but then to reverse sweep the series and qualify for the Salt Lake City Major tonight. Here against 4 Angry Men, they drop map 1. They turn it on with afterburners going hard on Chalet again to take map 2. Travie, we're back at it on the desk. I mean, look, Travie, what are the odds? What do we think? Is history going to repeat itself 2 nights in a row?
I said to you all at the start of this game, if this doesn't get done in 2 for 4 Angry Men, there's a very real possibility Wolves will take it through on Border. Where are we going? We're going to Border. It's map 3. I'm backing Wolves all the way.
Oh, Dad, you got to imagine. Last night, I mean, it was a truly impressive scene that was set. Wolves come in. They get demolished game 1. King Zero are arcing up across the stage, yelling at their opponents. We hit Chalet, and Wolves starts working their way through. King Zero get quieter and quieter. They take the map. We then head to the decider, and a bit of momentum comes back King Zero's way. They start arcing up again, and the Wolves slam the door shut. It just feels like it's happening all over again.
It just seems like they have the perfect key to some of these maps, so some of these maps they don't. It does seem like aggressivity suits them a little bit more. Yes, of course, listen. You have the strats, you have the setup, you have everything, but the second you can let loose a little bit on Chalet and Border, that's where it does seem that Wolves find their shine. Maybe strict rules isn't what their go-to is, maybe just having the freedom is much more.
Well, I mean, that's exactly it. Begs the question. Maps are in the cards. Can Wolves do it again 2 nights in a row as we head to Border for one final time tonight? The Whiskies here to take it away.
Okay, one final map to get it done, and the call for the battleground run is Border. Until Nighthaven Labs, this was my absolute favorite map. It was run and gun, it was all soft breach, it was cheeky head holes. Now it's got a little bit more structure to it. We still see it kind of lean to that attacker side of things, but a well-coordinated and momentum-filled defense definitely can find success here. Run, is Wolves going to find that success on Border? That's the big question for me.
Honestly, it feels like, you know, from what the analysts were saying, you come into this map and say, all right, now we can find a win here. They're going to carry this momentum forward. It feels very much like the close quarter combat we saw from Chalet as well. And if 4AM men thrive on the larger maps, this is a huge boost for this Wolves team. And coming into this, I felt the same way. If 4AM could close this one out quickly on Chalet, right, that was over. But man, the Wolves are on an attack, I think, that we have not expected. And when you take a look back at where they found success on against King Zero, like they were talking about, Chalet, and then closed it out in a third as well. So team that builds momentum and carries it forward.
All right, well, Wolves found success in delay. They torched time, they added layers to their defense, and it just made 4AM miss. They're looking to do the same thing again right now. This time, to help set that denial scenario, Castle's on the board, a little bit of area denial with Goyo as well, so in for the long haul for this one, Run.
The other thing is, which map did this Wolves team take off of all gamers? Oh, that's right, Border, my friend. Taking down the #1 team, they found the only map that all gamers team lost, this one versus the Wolves team. It did go all the way to overtime, so it was a close game, obviously. But, man, it feels like coming off of a one map loss and then coming back to win a best of 3 yesterday, looking like the same magic today. I was not high on this Wolves team coming into this match, but they have showed up on Chalet in a way that I did not expect. 7-3 really shutting down 4AM and made them look like they couldn't get anything done. It's a huge change up here for this team. So right now, I'm feeling like Wolves are the team to be watching. Now, we're on second floor to start this thing off. Best opportunity for the defense to pick up a win. So really, that round 2 is going to be where that story starts to get told.
All right, almost at the halfway mark. We'll see those Roteros start to get to work, getting rid of those castle barricades. Twitch to start getting those Goyo canisters locked on down as they're going to try to start to get themselves in a position to execute. It feels a little slow going here for this 4AM team. No real contest, but they have found a little bit of that real estate. Not in a huge way, though. We're still pretty locked here on the Wolf side.
Really, Border's a map that really favors teams that play super aggressive. I was expecting that from this attacking team to come out a little bit stronger. Here's the other thing. 4AM has started on the attack for all 3 maps, so they've really had this opportunity to kick it off in the way that they want to try and control the pace of this game. I don't know whether or not that's a boost here for Wolves, but once again, they get to start off on defense, hold the tight, and look at this little push up the metal stairs. They're going to take the engagement, and no one dies, though. As we get into the final 30, we're still stacked, 5 apiece.
And Deimos gets taken down as the double swing was there for that fountain rotate. Answered back. Gotti's there. His first kill of the match does get us into an equalized position. They've got some space. They've forced these defenders back, and now it's time to start getting up for a little bit of that protect the president play. A quick swing. Goyos ripped off the board. Man advantage now into the hands of 4 a.m. Time counting down. Quick swing onto Fountain. Now we're equalized into the 3s. Fenrir goes down. Now into the 2s. 7 seconds left. Diffuser's in hand, but they're not in a position to get the plant. Trying to make their way towards Fountain, but just getting absolutely shut down. Makes their way into sight, but it is all for naught as the defense was resilient in that hold.
Wasting time, and honestly, 4 a.m. played right into their hands, didn't play super aggressive, and the Wolves just held back, held on, held tight. We see a second floor victory there on board. Again, not surprising to see a defensive win here. So now is the time for the 4 a.m. attack to shine. What can they pull off here? But once again, you know, we talked about this coming in. The Wolves have had just some great vibes over on their side of the LAN event here. All these guys playing in person. One of the things we love about the fact that CNL has been on LAN the entire time. And right now, feeling it. This right now, just a boost here for the Wolves team. So 4 a.m., time to lock in, my friends. They don't have to do, they don't have the Ying, they don't have the Glaz available, but they've got the other attacking util ops here. So Grim and Capital both going to make an appearance. They've been very consistent with the attacking ops they bring. If he's available, run the Grim, plus the Capital, plus that Twitch. Gotti on the Twitch is the man. They've got to watch out for him. You take him down early, certainly gives you a huge boost on the defensive side.
Yeah, they've got a plan, right? The comms are clear in how they like to attack. They want the intel, they want to force movement with that intel, and they want to get rid of that extension util to be able to take some of that pivoted space, or that coveted space. So, yeah, seems like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, although it didn't quite work out on the last one that we were watching. So we'll see if they play it out this time. Intel being fed galore here as you said it, Mozzie, Valkyrie, and Pulse. Pulse just showing exactly that they've got a bit of a detention problem.
Also going to give him the intel, slow this thing down. But again, I'm a little bit surprised by how quickly the 4 a.m. attack is working here at this point. All outside the building still, with the exception of the Nomad upstairs on that second floor. But, I mean, now we're just starting to enter the building. 30% of the round is already gone at this point, and almost going to lose that battle. He stays alive, but there it is. Gone as Recap takes him down. So a 2-1 Mozzie. Right place, right time. And you take a look at this defense. 4 C4s on the board, all still in pocket, all ready to take down the 4 a.m. attackers.
Man, yeah, explosive detail was just absolutely ready for it. The P10, Roni's going to be the one that finds that first kill onto IQ. So those Mozzie pests, those drones, and those Valkyrie cams, they're going to be a little bit more difficult to discover here for this last minute and a half. Feel like they've got a bit of an isolation in through Passport. Means they're going to take another look here, see if they can't find one of these defenders off and get themselves in a position to plant. But I don't know, Run. The Wolves have just been playing differently since the end of map number 1.
100%. It's confidence. They are carrying confidence into this map, into this game. Now, the problem is 4am still a very good team. They made it all the way here. They're going to be at Salt Lake. They thought potentially the favorites coming into this map on paper. Look at this. Dems holding on outside, going to get a shot through Passport. Yes, takes down Lita, puts us in a 4v3 scenario with 40 seconds left. They lose the Grim, that piece of the attacking play. Shot up through the floor, and man, they are just hitting all of the shots. Right place, right time in a 3v1, all up to Rockstar.
28 seconds left, still enough time to cook in the 1v2. The problem is he's got a bit of a split here he's got to take. Shots towards the half wall potentially could find a reward. Peeks up, but no. P10 Roni, absolute laser beam. He's going to collect one, and you know what? Wolves are going to find that first one, and it looks like the analyst desk prophecy starting to come to fruition here. Wolves are absolutely cooking.
Wow. What a turnaround from this. What a turnaround from map 1. It looks like 4am is defeating themselves at this point, right? Okay. It's still, game's not over, still plenty of time left, but we said going into this, the second round is going to start to tell this story. We see a Bathroom Tellers defensive win, off the back of what was it felt like a very slow execute. They managed to catch a few. Honestly, Mozzie finds 2 great shots early on and able to close out the round. So if Recap's not right place, right time, he goes 4-1 so far at this point and been helping to carry this team forward. There's an opportunity here for 4AM. They take Recap down. He's the best player on this team statistically throughout the entire stage at this point. You can find him, you can find a win. Maybe not the win con yet, but it's certainly feeling like it.
Yeah, definitely could be part of it for sure. I mean, he's having a stellar first few rounds, I guess you could say, and off the back of some absolutely devastating P10 Roni play. And I think they're going to run that again, right? They like the intel. They like the opportunity to swing, knowing full well where everybody sits. So double intel and double breach denials. They're looking to hold everything closed. Kate's going to allow those hatches. Bandit's going to allow those walls to stay closed from that bathroom area. And then, of course, Mute to deny intel as well. This feels like a very stacked defense.
Stacked defense indeed. You know, the thing about it is that we were going to talk about this right at the end of the previous map, but it ended too early. Is that we've seen a lot of the hard breach denial operators ban. The Cade and banned. I mean, Cade rarely gets a chance to even get played because he was banned so often in this league, more than 60% of the time. Both of them going to make an appearance here, but to me, the interesting thing with the CNL was we were always seeing the Ying, Grim, the attacking util ops, the chaos cheese ops part of the attacking bans rather than the hard breach. So that's the thing that might feel different going into the major, is that if you see the breach denial ops get banned, the hard breachers get banned as well. So going to make it difficult. That is something that I feel like the CNL has been playing a little bit differently than we see in NA and EU, and they're going to have to adapt around. But you're going to see them for the first time, and both of them brought out here as they're holding on to a first floor vent workshop site. And once again, 4AM attack, too slow, my friend, and then they're going to lose the first to a C4.
Man, not just the first, but that's the spearhead. Shield done and dusted, as that extension over into customs going to be allowed to continue on just a little bit longer here. Man advantage to Wolves here as that last final 60 starts to count down. Dokkaebi call goes out, trying to figure out if they've got one sitting close. Feels like they do, and it's just not going to be able to react to it, right? Valkyrie finds that kill, does put us into a 4-3 scenario as they do get the trade back. So a 1-for-1 here as they've claimed some pretty critical space. Equalized again. F2 has got something to say. In fact, oh man, ripped off the board now into a 1v2. It's all going to be up to Twitch for this final one again. Defense in a good position to find a 3-up, 3-down scenario. And you know what? Run. They're going to do it. Wolves laughing, smiling, laid back because it's too easy on border.
3 in a row, perfect first quarter for this team. They take all of the rounds. They go second floor, tellers, and vent all in a row in succession. Solid sweep for this team into a 4 AM timeout. Yeah, great call, my friends.
Yeah, time to talk about it a little bit. First quarter goes through and a little bit less successful than maybe you were thinking. Defense has been steadfast. We talked about them being resilient in that chalet map, just not able to be moved out of position, and they're showing a very similar play style on border, which we have dubbed, of course, attacker-sided for the most part. So well coordinated, lots of explosive, definitely a fun extension that they held for that vent workshop as they holding on to customs as well, not letting some of that site overplay start to ring in. So who's the ban you take off the board to stop this Wolves aggressive defense here?
The question there was, for me, right, do you take the timeout before or after the ban? So it always feels like a significant tactical choice to me. Right, take the pause before the bans and talk about who do you want to take off the board. That to me says they weren't even sure which one of these defenders they wanted to try and take away from the Wolves defense. right? If you take it after, you're adapting on a strategy built around which one you want to how do you change up your strategy to work around it. But that's a significant tactical choice, and to me feels like 4AM again on the back foot. They couldn't even decide who to ban rather than how to rework the attack around the loss of the asset. So they're not going to have the Dokkaebi there to give any of that roam clear operation or ability for them. They're going to have to rely on the Deimos, but now they're going to have to try and get it done. They take away the Valkyrie, which I'm honestly a little bit surprised about. Again, Valk didn't feel like the reason we were seeing this Wolves attack or Wolves defense be so successful. So interesting choice. And now they're going to have to work around again. The area denial from the Goyo. I thought maybe we'd see a Mozzie ban with how good Recap had been on that op to start off those first 3 rounds.
Yeah, well, Intel is king here in Siege, and who provides it very well. Valkyrie going to be a big part of that. So going to handicap them a little bit, and they're going to just kind of lean out of the strat. Mozzie does go as well, this time opting for the Vector of Goyo instead. So still very quick, rapid fire gun here as he looks to get engagements in that close quarter combat arena. First minute now, almost.
Hallmark of this 4AM attack has been slow motion, slow to get going. This time, though, finally they're going to catch a pair of defensive operators early on, and honestly, they were playing a pretty aggressive stance, right? Play on the valley, on the west side of the map, right up on top of those windows. You had the castles there to try and give them a little bit of space. Ash is going to open that space up, but to lose CPK, to lose Demos, you know what? That's not a bad place. The problem is you still have got the Goyo left alive, and finally Demos is going to try to take him down. This is such an important part of the next couple minutes of this round. They got a minute and a half, and taking down a Recap. He's the guy. They need to focus on that. I want to see another Deimos ping come out as now they get a little bit of pressure upstairs.
Man advantage does sit in the hands of 4AM here. A C4 is out, ready to deliver a little devastation. Oh, unfortunate. Gets stuck on the top of the single wall radio and can't have an impact out of the window. Little bit of damage now as Warden almost found himself in a little bit of danger, and that's going to be the gadget. Capital fires go out, smokes start to go. Deimos ping is there, but a Vector in hands of Recap is not to be denied. Numbers get equalized yet again as the diffuser goes down in radio. Recap holding on to it. A push up metal is going to be slowed down by the Zoto canister. Sees the rotate, but still cannot do anything about it as Gotti's able to take him off the board. The hero of the last couple of rounds and the frag leader here for Wolves is going to be the last alive to try to get this done. 1v2. Deimos ping comes out now as the pressure will start to sit in. They've got the intel. They know where he sits. Looking for that potential rotate from the back side of it. Now made their way in, going to grab that diffuser. He gets rewarded with 1. Now into a 1v1 scenario. It's a ring around the rosy here as he's looking towards the rotate, but he's not showing face. Put himself back towards the catwalk, back towards break room, and as the time starts to tick down, he's just going to get in, just get himself in and get that plant going down, but he hears his feet coming up. There's no time. He takes the shot anyways. Easy finds him. 1v1 showdown.
Oh, wild, my friend. Wild. I thought he goes all the way to the backside of the site. He could have gone on all the way to the west side door, so he's able to get outside, maybe hold it on rappel, and honestly, he just left it too close at that point. I think he had the opportunity to get further away from site in a solid run back and stay away from the 1v1 fight with Gotti. Unfortunately, loses that battle, so after what was a perfect first quarter for this Wolves team, finally we see a little bit of opportunity come out there, and you know what? That's got to feel good here for this 4AM team. Recap, though, was just unbelievable. He hits, what was that, a triple on that round. He was 7-1 at this point. Now 8-2 after finding another. What a round, what a game he's having so far. The problem is you still had MVP v MVP in a 1v1 at the end, and Gotti takes it with the Twitch. I almost expected a Twitch ban coming out from this Wolves defense with how good he's been on that op consistently across all 3 maps.
Still leaning into that intel. Pulse and Mozzie back on the board. Who did we switch out for the Valkyrie here onto the defense? Fenrir makes his way in. Cade, of course, that breach now will be out and about and around. Onto the bathroom site here for the defense, and going to try to just get some early picks here as they look to take a little bit of pressure on that passport area.
Once again, W observing and Prod here coming out from the CNL team, showing us, okay, yeah, they get the can opener onto this onto the detention side, so they've got that open, putting a little bit of pressure on the Pulse to push him out of that space, and just slowly working this defense back into a little bit more tight spots. Now, the question is, how many players are upstairs for this defense? None. Wild that on this first floor we're going to see no second floor vertical pressure here from this Wolves defense. There's an opportunity here for the 4 a.m. TAC to exploit that condition. Yeah, you can have a little bit of direct play, but you know what? The Deimos fighting down, the Buck fighting down. Huge opportunity here for 4 a.m. and they need to read into this quickly.
A little bit of an exchange here. Pulse comes out a little worse the wear. Still alive to tell the tale. In fact, an SMG-11 will answer back. Nomad will go down, and Wolves will claim that man advantage. Just over half the time left, so starting to favor the defense, not just in that man count, but also in the time factor. Attack has made their way. Everybody in the building now as they're trying to mount an attack towards that site overplay, but they've been stymied, almost as if an invisible wall here is... Oh, man.
Shut down. They lose the Deimos. And wow, what a play here. And no way. 2v5 as Recap catches another. 4am is falling apart before our eyes. Coming off of a huge round win, and they are going to squander the momentum early in this one.
And for the last 50 seconds is here, and it is a tough hill to climb for 4 a.m. Low health on the Sens. Is going to find one. Twitch will answer and grab one of those, so it won't be a flawless at least. Gadget goes down as they're going to take another look. Twitch drone gets inside, still making their way up, hoping for a little bit of that intel from that drone coming on in. Has an idea that somebody's close. They take a couple of shots, answered though, taken off the board. MP7 to take one down. Twitch again to find it. Now into a 1v3. 17 seconds left, and the diffuser is all the way across the site. No chance at bringing this one back unless everybody peaked at the same time. And run, I just don't think Wolves are going to be doing that.
They're not going to do that again, Glitter, as we saw Gotti pick up a 3v1 scenario clutch at the top of the warehouse stairs on Nighthaven Labs. They learned their lesson, though, and they are not going to throw bodies at the man who was on fire to close this thing out. And Wolves, a little trigger discipline, a little positioning, and they find another defensive win on what should be attacker-sided map. Now, I know we'd say attacker-sided all the time, certainly for Border, and you take a look at where it is in the CNL, straight, solid 50-50 right now in the CNL. So too close to call, and we're going to let the momentum tell the story here from the Wolves. They're carrying this thing forward, and if you're just joining the broadcast at this point, man, great time to catch this, because you are seeing the Wolves really come back from a devastating first map loss, so one-sided 7-2 victory on Nighthaven Labs for 4 a.m. And since that point, we have slowly watched this team erode from dominating force into just barely staying alive.
Okay, last round of the half. 4 a.m. almost desperate to claim a win here and stick themselves on a standard split, although albeit not specifically on the side that you would traditionally think. This event workshop hold here, complete quad wall opened up, so no easy space to push in. A quick spawn peek means a little bit of a ghost pressure here out of the Wolves is going to make you check every single door and window as you start to approach the building.
They're inviting this 4 a.m. attack in, right? They have very few reinforcements over on the vent side. It looked like bathroom was completely soft as well. So yeah, they have a little bit of an extension here for this team, and it's unreinforced, allowing 4 a.m. attack to gain some space if they want to take it. So you know what? They're just baiting them in. Come and take it. We dare you at this point. And they're definitely spread out. 2 players upstairs on the second floor, 3 downstairs on the first, holding on to the office side, playing some rat positions. And early on, I would have said that that's a huge problem here for this Wolves team, that the 4 a.m. attack is going to capitalize on those individual roamers. But right now, I'm not feeling it, and neither are they. At least we're still stacked 5 apiece as we're getting close to that halfway mark in this round, and they're taking shots outside, looking around at this point, but no real solid engagements coming out from either team at this point.
Solus trying to get a little bit of intel, a little bit of a what's the word going on here. IQ is definitely getting rid of some of that extension util. Cam's going down. Really, it's just this attack team checking all the boxes. You heard Diana talk about it a little bit earlier as the problem with the Wolves. They weren't necessarily hitting all those boxes. Well, a little bit of that Uno reverse card on the table. 4AM now having to put that extra work in, make sure that they're not going to get caught slipping by something the Wolves are bringing out. So far at that 5-all, it means this final kill feed run is just going to be absolutely brutal.
Final 50 seconds here, and you know the surprising thing from the Wolves side, we haven't seen Carty go crazy. It was 13 kills on the previous round, but there, you said it, kill feed going crazy. The first couple trades ring out, 42 seconds left, and it favors the 4 a.m. attack team, and a little vertical play coming out. They're going to have to watch out for the environmental ingredient. A 30-second execute down to a 1v, no, a 2v4 as CPK just barely left alive.
Monty now starting to make the push in as he wants to try to potentially isolate this player sitting security, and a pistol pop will find the body drop now into a 4v1. Solus, the last alive as the plant starts going down. No intel to be had on it. Takes a swing inside of the door and is going to be absolutely and handily dealt with.
Solid play there coming out from the attackers. They claim that vent workshop space, and it was definitely slow, but then at the end, Wolves started to throw a couple bodies at it, and the shields come out on top. Helps carry this 4 a.m. team into the timeout.
Again, they love to rush. Yeah, and be careful, they love to rush, okay? Please, if they rush, communicate, send what you do, okay? Hey, Car directly, speak. Yeah. You guys are good. Come on, you got this, okay? Speak. You have all the capacities to make this game a win, okay? So let's go. Be careful of rush and be careful of Doka, second call, execution. Keep this in mind. Say what you're holding, please. Alright, let's go. Talk about defense.
We get this, guys.
We said we wanted to ban Ying plus
Okay.
Pass.
We said be patient, but the patient is not holding angle and saying nothing. If they rush, we talk about the angle and the say push where and the push where together. Then we go push, and it's not like a keep silence and hold angle. Okay, guys.
别尬黑啊，不用边别尬黑啊。
打篮球了。
外援，人家也是外援在西啊，我们也是外援在西。新加坡。
Okay, so a little bit worried about potential of the quick play, right? Rushing into strat, claiming some of those early entry kills, and I think the big takeaway here is it feels like there's a bit of a lack of communication going on, and it feels like it's a little disjointed, right, Run? It feels like maybe that call is coming in a little bit late, or potentially that a little bit of that mental chuck might be setting a little bit here for 4 a.m.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, I love the fact that we're getting live listen-ins with the team. Obviously, a little bit easier since the 4 a.m. coach speaking English here on the English stream for the CNL. But yeah, you said it. The miscoordination here from this team coming out, and you can hear it in their voices, struggling a little bit at this point. Wolves right now on top, not just in the scoreline for this map specifically, but in the way that the momentum for this whole series has gone. 4AM started off very strong on Nighthaven Labs, and since that point, they have slowly descended into darkness as they struggle to really gain any bit of momentum. 50-50 map here statistically coming in for Border on the CNL, so that gives the Wolves a little bit of a boost as they finish out their defensive half 4-2. As we come into the start of 4 a.m. on their defense, A little bit of slowdown, intel, area deny, and then Rockstar on the roam game. But for sure, Gotti got to be the guy who continues to carry this team. Let's see what they can get done. Start of the second half.
Okay, 4-2 split. Wolves go on to the attack, and you can guarantee, you can take it to the bank that there is going to be some aggression as they're laughing and smiling. They're absolutely feeling themselves. I mean, yeah, a little bit of those riskier plays might be in hand. Something quick, something spicy to try and get rid of some of those quick isolations. I'm curious to see what they're bringing to the board here. Defense, they're locking in. It's 4 a.m. We know they're good. We know they've got a great mental. Now it's just time to get over to that last hump. 2 rounds separate them from tying up here on the defensive side of it. We'll see who comes out on top for this one.
Yeah, really, you're talking about 1 round off from the split that we've seen from this map, that 50-50. So 4AM is absolutely still in this thing, and from the operators that they have to work around, losing the castle, I think, is definitely significant. This the Wolves defense was very good with the castle to try and block off and funnel the 4AM attack in, and 4AM now is not going to have that same assets to try and deal with. The good news is they still have got, the area denial in play, but they're not running any of the breach now. They're not running the Azami, which honestly feels like maybe a bit of a mistake at this point. We're going to see the Wolves attack, though. They're going to run a couple of the DMRs and the F2 from the Twitch. And look at this quick plant coming in. Do they realize that the plant is actually going down, that Monty's got that spot? They do!
Yeah, but they're not able to get it off. In fact, only half the damage going to be done. A C4 will ring out as well, but it won't find the connection. First kill will be by the Wolves as they take the Goyo off the board. That's the Vector done and dusted now. They've got a tough place to find themselves to get back in. Now, you still got plenty of people. The problem is the walking shield is going to be having something to say about it there. It is a 3v2 now. As they're going for the defuse. He's holding on to it. He's going to try to stick it. He has to get off to take this battle into a 1v. Wolves are going to find it.
The quick execute, and we were treated to a little bit of VR going on outside the production staff. W play from both Prod and from the Wolves as solid, fantastic post-plant play, solid plant going down. And you know what? It looked like we saw 4AM was ready for it. They knew the plant was going down in the corner. They tried to go for the impact nade to stop it. The problem is they didn't need a pokeball. They needed a freaking brick of C4 to shut that thing down. And a missed opportunity here for this team. Wolves now 1 round away. Match point scenario.
Okay. Analyst desk looking pretty good with that. If they win Chalet, they win the whole dang thing here. 1 away from that match point scenario, and they're looking good. Defense has brought out a little bit of that slowdown, and you're seeing those Thorn Gadgets placed close to that break room. Those Thorn Gadgets can set off that environmental ingredient. So an explosive kill off a quick pass through could be a definite potential to ring out. But Malusi Gadgets as well to slow him down, hopefully setting some pace in, and that's exactly what this 4AM team is going to need. The problem is, Wolves are feeling it. Blitz is on board. Ram is there to open up some of that vertical and shut down the doors with Aurora as well. I don't know. Might be getting in for another bit of quick action here, Run, if they can get away with it.
Now, the thing that the analyst desk said, and we may not get an opportunity to talk about it if the Wolves pick up another round win here, is that, what you get into this game, they're still going to have to face EDG, Edward Gaming, in the next lower final, and Edward is going to find the win no matter what, was the analyst's comment. So Wolves, the vibes need to be high, and they are going to go for another quick plant, but this time taken down with the explosives. Blitz was ready for it, but so was 4AM. Solid play here from this team. They read into the fact that this was going to happen quickly. Rauer tries to block off the door, but the Pokeball hits its mark this time, stops the defuse, and it is down. So now they're going to have to fight the battle upstairs before they can really get going.
Man advantage is into the hands of nobody. Equalization comes through as the shotgun finds a couple of quick, nasty kills. CZ is going to also do it. Now, all of a sudden, defense finds themselves with a man advantage. Plant starting to go down, realizes he's got somebody sitting above the hatch, and that gunshot is going to reveal his location. Dokkaebi call goes out. Cams are there. So they've taken on this. The defense is holding on to the 2F here now. Dokkaebi trying to put some pressure onto them, but it can't quite do it. There it is. The equalizer has been found.
Great
now
shot.
Into a 2-2. Now into a 2-1. Dokkaebi going to be the last alive as 4AM trying to claim themselves around. Diffuser is in hand. Can potentially go for the plant. Both of them down onto the first floor, and they've rotated out, giving them a little bit of space. Giving him a little bit of room to potentially try to plant, a little bit of a fake maybe. They've got this one locked in. Dokkaebi with all to do and 44 in which to do it. One to rotate around, and there's going to be that first sound cue. He's made his way back up top, back down to mid. They're just playing mind games here, Whiskey.
Drops the diffuser rather than trying to go for it again. Is going to take that battle and wins one. Oh, so close.
Good play, right? The question is, were they going to be able to hold out on the defensive side of it against the onslaught that the Wolves were bringing to the table? Yeah, they absolutely were. They find themselves in a good 1v2, a lot of movement, a lot of sounds to keep pulling him off the plant and never give him that safety to know that he can get one down. And so defense finds himself around, and now they're starting to climb back. A few rounds still away from striking distance to tying this one up, but it took a bite of the elephant on that one.
Yeah, for sure. You had to find one there, and that was the place to do it. And so close to another quick execute happening this time, and it looked like that was going to work for this team. But we said it, the Pokeball wins its battle. So much action happening upstairs on this second floor, and look at that, right place, wrong timing as he swings into the defense. Man, just so close. That honestly could have gone either way at this point, and now, from a defense standpoint, they're bringing on a ton of shotguns. Pair of the sniper shot is in hand from both the Goyo and the Cade. Now they've got the Cade claws in play to try and lock some more of this down. And Monty has got the diffuser in hand. Bathroom, are we going to see the bathroom quick plant?
Man, I don't know. You got a couple of rounds to play off, but if 4AM does win this one, then they are definitely within striking distance of tying it up. And as a Wolves fan, you got to be hoping that they got a little something different in mind for that one. Attack did bring the shield along. Spearhead is here, so going to try to get themselves some forward movement, force some potential mistakes, and he's coming right in through detention. And look at this. They're taking some quick space. Air jabs go out to block the flank, and now they've got some good potential to start putting some pressure onto this first floor.
First floor approach on the bathroom side, and they don't really have any control over on the second floor at all. They've got most of it over on the first at this point, and they're going to try and look through the teller's window side. And okay, here, gonna open up that double on and gain a little bit of this space, but right now it feels like 4AM just can sit back, relax. Tons of pressure here on this Wolves attack side. Gonna see one of the first smokes go out, but Litas running the ward, and he's gonna be able to see through that. And look at this, Monty going for the play. The C4 is out. A pair of them take down the planter. They were ready for it.
East Stairwell is going to find a kill for the attack side as they claim that man advantage now. Minute and 20 still to work, so plenty of time to work with here. Big difference here is they did get the spearhead taken off the board, and now the flank watch gone. Not just the flank watch, but second frag leader, 11-4. Nomad gets taken off the board. So numbers equalized. Still have Recap sitting at the 12-6. Still have Gotti at 11-3. So a final showdown. Oh yeah, that's incoming.
Yeah, too close to call between these two guys. And you're talking about 3v3, so they read into it, block the quick plant in play, and now it comes down to just solid siege between these two teams. And it is going to be, I want to say TDM style at this point, but you're going to have to win here. Not objective-based gameplay, but just winning some of these gunfights, catching one of the attackers off guard, maybe. No, he sees him through the wall. 2v3 now with 25 seconds left.
Okay, now it falls into the attacker's hands outside of the equalization. MP7 is going to find that now into a 2-2. 18 as it pushes in. Oh, Fenrir goes down. Defense in a noticeably bad spot here. Does take a shot into Ace. Finds a little bit of damage, and now it's just but a bullet, but a pistol's there to claim it. Wolves catches it.
You know what that means, Glitter? It is not just map point scenario here for this Wolves team. It is map point, match point, series point, and now lower bracket semi-final point onto the lower bracket final if they find just one more round. We're in the exact same position we were on Chalet, and that turned into a 7-3 Wolves victory, my friend. Closing out the third quarter. We're going to see another 4 a.m. timeout. This time they're going to let the ban phase go through fully. We're not going to have the Grim or the Solus. Do they take the pause right now to talk about how to work through it? No, they're going to let it play out.
Perfect for 3 for 4 a.m. Or we're done and dusted here on map number 3. Take it up to the second floor, and honestly, they gotta, after the bans go through, one important character gets to remain on board. The Mira is here. A fun little layer to the defense that could prove difficult, although we've been seeing Twitch being run all night. Plenty of operators to deal with the Mira, but still just generally a headache to have to deal with. So you remove the castle, you remove the Clash, and you remove the Solus, which had been kind of one of Gotti's go-tos. And he's still got a Vector in hand, still got plenty of room for some devastation.
100%. We've seen him go crazy with the Vector downstairs in EXO on Nighthaven Labs. One of the things that helped carry to that 4 a.m. team to victory. Honestly, yeah, this, I don't want to say a bit of a mistake, but certainly I think the Mirror right now is a fantastic call here from this Wolves defense, or from this 4 a.m. defense. That is exactly what they need to try and slow this team down, and forces the Wolves into bringing some specific piece of util to work around and clear that space. That means the Twitch drones are going to be very valuable, and they're going to need to not just clear out the Fenrirs, not just clear out some of these other pieces of util, maybe a Grismop, but they have got to focus on getting those mirror windows cleared. And you can see that's exactly where he's going. Is he going to catch one? As they're starting to stack up a little bit of quick play here from this attack, as they have the blitz in play, but look at that Lita. Right place, right time, taking advantage of the Wolves, making a mistake. 5v4 early as the first minute gameplay gone.
Slow movement from the Blitz here as they start to make their way in, and now a second rings out, a third goes down as Blitz's life is forfeit as well, and that's the problem when you put a Vector in Gotti's hands. He's going to absolutely cook with it. 12-4 now, 5 versus 2, so much time left on the board, and honestly, they're just going to have to, or they're just going to be holding out. Vector's going to find another kill. It's all going to be up to the Roar to bring this one back in a 1v5. Has to be perfect for an ace, or on pace for the ace, to keep this one alive, or I mean to keep this round alive. Run feels like might be a little too late scenario here for this Wolves attack on this one.
He's got options. You've got the Rower Gadget. You can block off some of these sight lines, but nowhere close to the diffuser. Going to take a timeout, faux timeout here, as once again, W production broadcast there from the CNL side. Maybe somebody's going to swing it. He's going to catch 2 off them throwing bodies at the situation. They're not going to make the same mistake twice. We said 4M needed to be perfect for 3 in order to send this thing to overtime. Oh, wow, he's not even going to wait for it, but the double Thorn Gadget takes down the final attacker. He hops in top of the east side off the AC, and great play there from 4 a.m. It's the second floor. Best opportunity for the defense to find a win, though, is now we're going to see both of those first floor sites come back into rotation. And once again, Wolves still on that match point scenario, series point, lower bracket semifinal point.
Okay, well, in the perfect for 3, they find their first run and honestly looked real good. A little bit of a faux pas there at the end where they had a couple of swings that were a bit unnecessary, but you've got the body count to do so, right? If you take a few risks to end the round. Defense going to take it down to the vent workshop area this time. 4AM going to try to hold on. They bring the bandit out, and other than that, we're looking at a very similar lineup to what just won them the last one.
Now, okay, let's take a look at the round count for a second. I don't know whether or not the observers will show it to us, but if you forget about the first quarter for a moment, first quarter was obviously incredibly dominant for this Wolves team. They go 3-0 to start this thing off. Since the first quarter, right, since round 4, we have seen a back-and-forth battle. No team has won more than one round in a row at this point. They have gone win v win v win, back and forth since round 4. So, once again, you say the Wolves played an incredible way to start this thing off, but since that point, the 4AM team has had an answer for everything that the Wolves team has brought. So, this map is really outside of that first quarter, way closer than the score line has showed. 4AM is absolutely still in this. The problem is that with such a backlog to start this map off, losing those first 3, that they're in a very tough scenario. And now, we've seen the 4AM win. If we were to continue the back and forth, 7-4 victory for Wolves. So 4M's going to have to try and pull off something that we haven't seen since back at the beginning of Shaolei, win 2 rounds in a row.
Okay, good question. Can it be done? We'll find out. Roar going to start shutting some of these doors down. A little upset. I think it hits the wrong one. So finally gets the door into the right space. No contest just yet. And they're kind of locking all of the doors down. One left to potentially set on that last one right out in front. Smoke goes down and
solid
try
miss.
To potentially force a potential swing here.
All right, Kartai here is really struggling. He missed the Railroad Gadget, missed the smoke. That is not the way that you win these matches, that you make this work. And look at this, Gotti is ready for the swing outside, knows that he's got a defender there. He can absolutely hear this close. And the question is, who is going to swing better? He's reloading! Gotti catches that, perfectly freaking played. We're going to end the sad story of Karti here at this point with missed gadgets, missed play, and then loses the battle. And 4AM, they hadn't found 2 rounds in a row since back on round 3 of Shaolei. They may just pull this off.
Okay, 4v2. Finally, Recap's able to stop the flow of bleeding here as he takes one off the board, but it's going to be all in his hands now. Has to be perfect for the last 4 of them, on pace for the ace. Yet again, Wolves find themselves needing an ace to clutch this third map up. And after this one, we get within striking distance. Shots down below, but the double swing and a shotgun in hand is going to say, no, you shall not pass, my friend.
They needed to be perfect for 3, and they have freaking pulled off 2 in a row, my friend. The Wolves now starting to get worried to the point that they take the timeout. He said it. We had not seen a 4AM team that could even put together 2 rounds in a row. This is back on round 2 and 3 of Shaolei, which feels like hours ago because it was at this point. Hour and a half past that previous point, and the Wolves have been dominating the game of Siege since then. Starting to fall apart, though. Time to take a timeout and talk about it, brother.
Yeah, not a bad idea, right? It's coming down to it, the final few rounds here, and a timeout can make or break. We talk about the timeout buff, but it gives them both a chance to talk, both a chance to change. Wolves, even though they're ahead in the scoreline, have been caught on the back foot. A little bit of strat in the bin here for the last couple of rounds. A timeout to say, what can we do to close this thing out? Questioning what the comms are on this one, Run.
It's like, let's get back to what we've been doing for the last 2 hours of Siege. We dominated on Shaolei, dominated on the beginning part of this map, and we're just letting this defense slowly pick us apart. Honestly, it felt like they tried a couple of the quick plants, right? That was what felt like we were seeing the Wolves' attack start to fall apart. Is they weren't playing the same sort of strategy that they were from, you know, waiting until the execute side and slowly picking apart a 4 a.m. defense that was a little bit more spread out. They started trying to do some more of the quick plant play, and that's just not working versus 4 a.m. They were ready for it. This 4 a.m. team is absolutely reading into a Wolves attack that's trying to get cute, trying to get quick, and that's not the way that they're going to win rounds. It is the last round of regulation, my friend, as we sit 6-5, as it were, 1 round away from overtime.
Double shields on the board here for this attacking Wolves team as they want to try to force a few mistakes, maybe get caught running or jaywalking across one of the cut routes that are set up. Oh. Goyo canister does go down. I think the Twitch might have had something to do with that, my friend. Gonna get themselves in a position to get that plant. Defense has 2 members up top, so not a huge investment into the vertical here, but still enough of a presence where the attacking Wolves are going to have to put boots on the ground. A run out, that's going to slow that process down.
The takedown recap.
Yeah, huge. Frag leader off the board. Win condition met. C4 goes down. Shotgun's going to find a second one to answer in as Blackbeard is going to find that kill. Now Twitch goes down as they put themselves into a 4v1. Again, have to be perfect here to put themselves onto the win. Can't quite do it. Thought the hatch drop happened, but Malusi stays steadfast atop and finds the win. Sheesh. 4 a.m. They're bringing it back.
This is a back and forth battle bracketed by flawless quarters. We see the Wolves go 3-0 first quarter, 4 a.m. 3-0 fourth quarter. Back and forth battle in the middle of this. Wild gameplay between these two teams. If you're a Wolves fan, you're saying, what a throw from a team that absolutely should have been able to pick 4 a.m. apart after the success they had on Shaolei. And my friend, we are seeing overtime here for the lower bracket semifinal. Who is going to get to face Edward Gaming? We've got to get overtime, all of those rounds required to figure it out.
Okay, you love it. It's what you want here when it's all on the line. Goyo back on the board. Some of that long range, they kind of got off of that strat they were playing with a bunch of the intel being that big focus towards finding some of those opportunities. Instead, it's just adding a few more layers. Make sure you have to get the wall open. Then you got to deal with those Goyo canisters. Then when you get through, you can't smoke because Warden's still in play. They got to peel quite a few of those back to get in and potentially do some Protect the President play. Well, we'll see what 4 a.m.'s got on the board for it.
What did you and I think the analysts say coming into this game, right? The one map that Wolves was able to take off of all gamers was Border. This was their map, and that one went all the way to overtime. Man, similar story playing out here. Now, again, is the eventual winner going to have to face Edward Gaming and lose that battle? But look at this, stacked up outside on drones. They're going to make sure that they have got intel for days on this Wolf defense. Every piece, every aspect of this defense fully mapped out for them to be able to work around. They're bringing the Blackbeard, they're bringing the Capito, tons of attacker execute utility here on this 4 a.m. side. You said it, the Wolves are ready to slow this thing down, and you know what? Locked in. Slow down city for this team. So even if they've got an understanding of where everyone is, what they need to deal with, and lots of utility to work around it, still going to have to clear out this Wolves defense, which, I mean, started off with a 3-0 start.
A little bit of damage onto the Bandit. They've made their way into this first floor. Daimlos to try to start putting pressure onto these vertical players. Move them back off that main breach so they can get themselves in for a plant. And look at this, now starting to make the move. Blackbeard posturing outside of the door on into sight. Knows he's got a little bit of a problem here into the office, waiting for the homie to get around. Sense Gadget will go out. They turn it off for the moment. That's one of those newest Sense reworks there, is that now those Gadget can be turned on and off. So waiting for that necessary movement when the bingo call gets made. Warden and Bandits now stacked up onto the breach, knowing that there's going to be trouble a-brewing here. Sense Gadget now does go off. Going to isolate the Warden behind. The C4 to ring out. Waiting for them to make that push in. Sends it to the corner. Is going to go off, but it's not going to get rewarded with anything. Warden goes down. Equalized now into the 4-4s. Capital finds his life forfeit. Goyo into the hit crosshairs and into the process. 3v2 now for the last 42. Does get equalized. Gotti sitting on an absolutely generational game now, 17-5. Trying to find a way to get himself in and get the plant, but he goes down. Fate will not give him this round. A 1v2 here as Nomad is the last alive. A clutch or kick scenario in hand, and it's going to be a Nomad versus Ella. A 1v1 showdown. It's been every single bit of these last couple of maps we've found ourselves. Plant gets taken to half to 75, but he pulls off. He hears the feed coming. Doesn't have enough time to react. 9 seconds. I don't know if he's got enough time to get the plant going. Ella's going to start making the push up. There's no fake here. He's going to go ahead and stick this thing. He was in the middle to hide it. Is a post-plant scenario now. Is a full retake as they go back and forth and just absolutely deleted. Defense finds a kill, and they do it after a crushing round.
Wow, came all the way down to a 1v1 post-plant battle in overtime for the Wolves to pick up a victory on what has been a tremendous defensive showing here on Border. We said that this map was 50-50 statistically all the way to overtime. Wild, that's exactly what we've seen between these two teams at the end of the day, but the Wolves pull it off with just slightly edging out the 4 a.m. team. Now the side swap, my friend. Wolves back on match point scenario again for the 4th round in this game. They threw it away there to 4 a.m. Are they going to do it again in overtime?
Well, it looks pretty not terrible on the attack side, right? They've had some aggression. They've had some good plays, although got a little bit scatterbrained there during the later half of their attacking round. As far as this one, this was cold. It was calculated. Gadgets in, gunfights held. Get yourself a round win after getting the potential plant starting to go down, and they did. Ended up in a 1v1 clutch or kick, and he pulls it off. Defense to find it. Now the pressure is on 4 a.m. to react, to respond. What is the rebuttal here onto their defense? Similar ops being brought onto the board here. In fact, this is a lineup that we've seen at them time and time again. It's comfort here as they try to take this into double overtime. It's gut check time.
2F has absolutely been the domain of the Wolves team. We've seen this. This will be the 6th time we've seen the second floor play it out, and we've seen the 4 a.m. team win it only once. One time. We've seen them win it. Now they need to pull off a second to at least send this thing into double OT. No way. The Wolves have been trying the quick plant strategy and it has not worked across the board. They're going to try it again, though, as Monty goes into the corner. This was one that they did manage to pull off. The C4s, the explosives going out, and he goes down in a hail of explosives. Man, just God, read into it, Wolves. You knew they were going to do that.
Yep, absolutely knew it was coming and just absolutely defeated. Now the diffuser's cold in sight. No shield, no spearhead. Still maintain that 4v5, so 1 to equalize. We'll feel a little bit safer. Aurora Gadget comes out. We'll block off one of the main doorways for the rotate. But damage has been done. A shotgun still guards the diffuser, and he sits close, potential with the C4 as well.
Oh no, his
C4
was gone. To see them open up the hatch and have Mute drop through the hatch onto the first floor and kill him. God, I wanted to see that. That would have been fantastic. not in position to pull it off, though, and he was the only defender that was really locking down sight at this point. So there still is a bit of an opportunity. All the C4s and all the explosives gone. The 4AM defense has no extra utility that they need to try to work around. Mute has still got 3 jammers in his pocket, though. That, to me, is honestly a little bit surprising. They've sort of given away all of that extra piece of utility. Don't go down. CPK still has got some utility in his pocket. Way more ability here for the Wolves attack team to try to pull this off. They may have lost the quick plant, but they still have 4 players left alive. They need to gain some of this office control, though, to really put the pinch move here on 4AM defense.
45 seconds left, going for the pinch move here on Canadian. Isn't going to be felt, though, as they're going to maintain a full 5 stack, trying to tie it up. Prone position sussed out. Now looking towards that top east. Dokeby is the last alive in what seems to be another repeat of the histories here. Has to ace to be able to win it. And Wolves, they're just not going to be able to lock this round down. Call it flawless, man, and give it over to 4AM.
No freaking way, my friend. We go the final 3 map all the way to overtime, and not just overtime, double freaking overtime. 7-7 as we go into the final round of the lower bracket semifinal. All possible when it comes down to it, and this is honestly anyone's game. This has been a 50-50 map through and through, continuing to pad the stat line that we're going to see on CNL across the board. Gotti is right there. You said it, almost generational game. Man sitting at near 20 kills, and the rest of this squad has really backed up across the board. Wolves on defense have been very good, although you can say the same for 4AM at this point. It's the final round. Bathroom Tellers, the place where we do battle. And when you're talking about a Wolves defense on this one, they have been flawless. This is their sight. Not managed to lose one yet. So, here it is, my friend. We're going to see the 4AM attacks show up in a way that we really haven't seen yet. Or, man, Wolves taking away the victory. It is double overtime match point scenario.
The slate is wiped clean. Everything set back to 0. 1 round to determine the winner. 1 round for the ego. 1 more round. They take it down to the first floor. Bathroom Tellers is going to be the site of battle here. Defense went back to that double intel scenario as both Mozzie and Pulse going to be utilized. They lost the Valkyrie on that final ban, so won't be leaning into that triple intel that they were utilizing so much here. So, I mean, kind of get a little bit of that, right? Fenrir can give some sound cues. You at least know where some of that push is going, but nothing like a direct cam saying, right here, on ping, on me, you know.
4 C4s again for this defense. Recap, 14 kills at this point. CPK 12. We got 3 players in double digits on both of these teams, stacking up kills apiece. And yeah, you said it. Cam's, the intel piece is going to be there, but with Recap able to steal away some of this space, the C4s feel like they're going to play a significant part in the way that this round goes. So 4AM is going to need to try and burn that. They have a Thatcher in play, and we have seen the Thatcher's C4 deny work successfully, but the problem is that you need to be right place, right time to try to pull this off. Overall, it has been a little bit of a back and forth battle, and no way Rockstar goes down as the first to lose his life in what is a huge boost for the Wolves defense.
Minute and a half left to go. First kill. First casualty. Oh, equalized though. Does find Pulse off the board. Part of that intel gone. A C4 now missing from the rest of this lineup. Will become a bit of a time crunch here for the attack side. Drones go in. Another kill goes down. Mute off the board. Another C4 gone. One ring out. Does get close. Actually gonna find it. Huge play by Recap. Now he's got that P10 Roni, the laser beam. They do get the numbers equalized, but an answer back does put the man advantage back to the hands of 4AM. Final minute starting to count down. Ace goes down. Numbers get equalized again. Now into a 2-2. Run, we're going to find ourselves on another 1v standoff here if we're not too careful. into bathroom, holding the angle on vending, waiting for the call to swing. Fenrir goes down, now into a 1v2. The double swing. The shot is going to be there. Now into a 1v1 again. It's going to be a low health scenario. Caden Thatcher, one for it all. Pistol popping, but can't get it done. Huge play as they come through with it.
8-7 victory for the Wolves in what was reduced a full lower bracket semifinal match. Best of 3 reduced down to a 1v1 in the final seconds, and Wolves come out on top in what was an incredible match between 2 evenly matched teams. Man, what a roller coaster ride of a series that was.
That was everything you'd hope for, right? A best of 3 that needs every single one to get it done. Well, we got a couple of friends gonna break it down for you. You gotta know the who, what, when, where, and why. We got everything right here as the analysts are taking back over. Welcome back. What?
Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, history repeats itself. Sometimes the lightning does strike twice. Yesterday, the Wolves find themselves down a map, go to Chalet, boot, rally, and win map 3 for the reverse sweep in overtime. Diadic, Trevi, look, I'll give it to you first, Trevi. You called it. I may have doubted. I know now that I was wrong. Wolves currently sit a top 3 team in the CNL.
I've been saying it all day long. This team have some serious upset potential behind them. And as soon as we saw the map veto, if it doesn't get done in 2 for all gate or 4 angry men, it's going to go to Wolves. Sure, there was some silliness. I don't want to say it was a flawless run. I don't want to beat around the bush and say it was the most serious game of Siege shall we watch. But Wolves certainly had some fun with it. Kept our hearts going right until that final moment. But just that little bit of extra individual prowess got them over the line there. And incredible stuff.
Oh, it was. It was truly magnificent, though. Time for a quick break on the other side. We'll look to break down the rest of that series, my lord. How have the Wolves done it again? We'll find out after. Well, I mean, what more could you ask, especially in a competition like this, than to get a result like that? Such a storied implication about, you know, that tenacity that we see so consistently out of China when it comes to esports. They battle on through. Wolves really under the pump. I mean, Travi, again, you called it, but it looked like for a moment that it was going to slip away from them. You come into map 1, it just becomes this absolute brutal beatdown from an opponent that everyone said was, going to take it out, and they just start coming back. Like, that takes a huge amount of resilience.
Honestly,
it
generally,
does.
I think... Oh, go ahead, Travi.
No, go.
No, listen, I just wanted to say, I think it was mainly just the map. Like, I think it was mainly the map, like, considering you have Chalet and Border being very close, very aggressive. You a little bit more like Luis, where you head on to the opponents the whole time. You don't need 20 million bazillion gazillion steps before that in order to go to the bomb site or even be clear the bomb site. You're just right there immediately, and that means you already have so many less steps to think about. And I think that gave them a lot of the times the heads up, or even that what they needed is not think but frag.
Yeah, and it's these big fragging moments there, especially on border there for the Wolves, right? I said earlier on, they excelled on this map. They're the only team who have been capable to take a map off of all gamers, and that was on border. They've done the exact same thing here going on against 4 Angry Men. So it's a really, really great one. And I was really thoroughly impressed with what I saw from them, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you come out of game 1, you're thinking this is probably going to go a bit rough. And then they start hitting their shots. They start... somehow... way of ways, it starts from Chalet 2 nights in a row, and they just pull it out absolutely phenomenally. It's very impressive stuff. So, I mean, in the grand scheme, that's what you kind of want to see, especially on the precipice of going and interacting on that international stage. For a team to be able to pull that out, it shows that there is a lot to be confident about going into Salt Lake City. But
that's it.
Look, okay, so we're just trying to sort a couple of things out behind the scenes. But
yeah,
I mean,
we've got some magic going on in the background.
There's a lot.
We'll unveil what that is in a second. We've got some cool stuff going. So we're just letting production sort that one out. In terms of what comes next, right? We can have a look at tomorrow's game. EDG versus Wolves. Any early predictions we want to throw in the boat here while we're thinking?
I mean, look.
You can't put me on a spot like this. You can't put me on a spot like this.
I can
listen.
do it.
I mean, you can't. No, I'm actually not allowing you to do the EDG against Wolves. Listen, as much as I love EDG, if that is not a free mapper, then I don't understand the world anymore. And I could right now not tell you who is going to be because I don't know the maps. If we have another Chalet and Border, then I'd say Wolves. If we have a Nighthaven Labs, Fortress, and Lair, then of course I'm going to say EDG. So it's like it really is going to come down to the maps.
Yeah, look, I think you'd imagine that other teams sitting back watching have learnt their lesson and aren't going to allow Chalet through, Travi, because they've not done it once, they've done it twice. Initiated and successfully pulled off the reverse sweep, starting the campaign on Chalet. So you'd have to imagine, going into that matchup against EDG, Chalet probably not making it through. Good chance Border's not making it through. I mean, if you had to predict it, where do you think that matchup would be played out?
Oh, looking at the vetoes tomorrow, I mean, obviously, like you say, Chalet, I think, might be a bit of out of rock. Border might be out. I think Wolves, it's in their benefit to take away from Nighthaven Labs, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's a map that's really popular inside of the region, inside of the CNL, but it's never been one that's particularly echoed as strong from them for me, in my opinions. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that one plays tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, I think there's some good news coming around the horizon. I'll just wait. I'll measure myself. But I think we have a bit of an interview coming through. Not just an interview, but an interview with the captain of Wolves Esports coming in. Demos, congratulations. Not only have you achieved a spot representing the CNL at Salt Lake City, you've now cracked top 3. How are you feeling? How is the team feeling?
My team is amazing. Like my team is doing so great. So I'm so happy to get into the major. That's it.
And I mean, CNL, very fresh to the Rainbow Six ecosystem. You guys are looking really, really on fire. Are there any teams that, stepping out onto that international stage, you are excited to potentially get to verse in Salt Lake?
Sorry, can you ask again? I can't hear you.
Are there any teams at the major that you are looking forward to getting the chance to play against internationally?
Of course, G2.
Ooh, okay, G2. Any other teams from SAL or NA?
Maybe SL and of course the Fourier from Brazil.
Hey,
they're all the best team in the world, and I'm so happy to have a chance to in the same stage with them. So it's a very good opportunity for CNL players.
Okay, listen, have you guys already prepared something for the international teams? Are you guys solely focusing on CNL right now? Do you guys want to fight for the title of being the first CNL best team crowned? Like, what is your next goal? Like, are you focusing on Salt Lake City or are you focusing on being the best team in CNL?
For me, we will try the best during in the major because it's the first time for all the CNL team, and we're gonna do the best, and it's a really good experience for us. And of course, the CNL, we aim for the champions.
I like that.
Love to hear it, Demos. And I just want to bring back the schedule a little bit onto more the local region itself here in the CNL. Tomorrow you're going to be going up against Edward Gaming for the lower bracket final match. What are your feelings on that game? Are you excited to play those guys? Or what's the thoughts on them?
Yeah, of course, this will be like really good game because they all the best player in CNL. They have really good coach and they are really good team. I think it's a good match.
Yeah.
To show like how CNL play. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. It'll certainly be quite a fun one to go on through. And just for us, Humorous, any maps that you want to particularly see out tomorrow?
They will be secret for me.
Yeah. Keep it nice and secret. That's the right answer.
Understandably. Now, Devo, look, again, congratulations. A top 3 team in the CNL. We can see your teammates there behind you. We're not going to keep you too much longer. But before we let you go, is there, anyone you'd like to shout out, anyone you'd like to thank before we let you leave?
Thank you all the fans and thank you all the support with Esports and like thanks for the invite to the interview. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We'll let you head off and go get yourselves ready because obviously it is going to be a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys.
Thank you.
I mean, that is an opportunity that really just sort of brings it that much closer to home in the CNL. It's again, it's a new region. It has something that, not every region gets to, see that early step, that early development of a region like China, getting to talk to a captain of a team there as well who has just cracked into top 3 and get a bit of an insight into what's going on. And that truly is a privilege. But I mean, Dianic, Travi, they've got a massive job on their hands tomorrow against Edward Gaming. They're quite clearly feeling confident, feeling happy with what they've been able to achieve so far. And the aspirations leaning beyond the CNL into the international scene as well. But having a look at things, seeing those results that we've had today, pretty clear-cut 2-0s across the board. It was clean sweeps, but it felt like anything but... I mean, Dianic, there were a couple of moments where it felt like just maybe we were going to go the full distance. We did in that last series.
Listen, a lot of the times, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't thought the second game, all gamers against Edward Gaming, is gonna be a quick 2-0. I thought that's gonna go all the way to the distant, 15 rounds, every single map. Like, I was not expecting that. And on the match, which I expect is gonna be quite dominantly from one team, it ended up being all 3 maps. So I think at this point, you can never really guess what you're getting out of this league. And I think that makes it also much more better because tomorrow we have the lower bracket final and the grand final. We're gonna crown the best team of CNL, the winner, the champion. I mean, we heard it there from Demos. Of course, he wants to be the champion, but also the big picture is they want to show themselves from CNL. They want to show that they have it in them at Salt Lake City. They don't want to be underestimated. I mean, as for right now, I do think a lot of teams might underestimate how strong they can be, but those map bans, I think, are going to be crucial. Same as tomorrow. Those map bans need to be on point for both of these teams.
Yeah, now look, Trevi, you seem to be the Wolves soothsayer. You're the oracle, you're the predictor. You seem to just have them on lock. We know that they've got your bank details. All that shilling is paying off you. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Before we even get to tomorrow, before we even get to the map vetoes, just how far can this Wolves Esports roster go?
Talking to Demos there, for someone so new to playing on this level of Siege, he's got such a level head about him. And I've got to be honest with you, Blue Panda, I could honestly see Wolves taking it the full distance tomorrow. We had them on as a bit of a sleeper pick today against 4 Angry Men. Finally, I think people are starting to put some respect to their names that I've been beckoning for the people to have from day one seeing these guys. They're fun to watch, they're always enjoying themselves, and that kind of a mentality is going to take you to some really, really great places. So I'm honestly going to be backing them all the way tomorrow. Call it a copium trade, call it prediction 100. We'll have to wait and see, but I believe in them all the way.
Look, I'm beginning to feel it too. I doubted them coming into today, and they go and do the exact same thing they did last night. They pull off the reverse sweep. They look darn good doing it, of course, and they get the full distance. They are top 3 guaranteed. They are Utah bound, going to Salt Lake City. But where do they go from here? That is truly the question. I'm so excited to see. Thank you so much, Dianic, Travi, for joining me on the desk, to the Whiskies as well, rocking it on the mic. Those guys are generational talents on the commentary. But for now, for today, we are done and dusted. Tomorrow, we see how far this Wolves journey can go. Can they crack into that grand finals? And where do they go beyond there? Find out tomorrow. We'll see you then.